This road trip for the Orioles has been about offense. Unfortunately, not the Orioles' offense. And the Yankees have tagged them hard. First two games, Orioles starters have not gone deep at all. It was Chris Tillman. He was taken out early yesterday. Now the Orioles need someone to set this straight. Kevin Gausman's the man they'll go to today. Coming off a good start against Pittsburgh, Gausman's got to give the Orioles some innings, and the Orioles need a double. It's the Orioles on Masson, and we welcome you back to Yankee Stadium in New York to wrap up this three-game set. The Orioles trying to avoid a sweep by the Yankees here on a Sunday afternoon. Hi, everybody. I'm Gary Thorne, and welcome. For the Orioles, the sweeps regarding these two teams have been few and far between over the past few seasons. The last time the Yankees swept a three-game series here in New York against the Orioles, got to go back to July of 2015. Orioles want to keep it that way. However, the Orioles have lost 8 consecutive games on the road. That's got to be corrected. Here are the numbers, home and road, for the Orioles this year, and there's really only one line that you have to look at, and that's regarding the pitchers. The starter ERA on the road is over 6. The bullpen ERA, double what it is, or 2 more than it is at home. Those are the numbers. The Orioles are scoring all right on the road to win games. They're getting the runs. You get over 4, you figure you win, but not when the pitching's given up that many. So, Mike Bordick, that's what they'll look to overcome today.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I think the lack of the pitching and the fact that the opponents are scoring so early has had an effect on the Oriole offense, because the last 3 games they haven't been able to get the 4 runs on the board. So it is having this cumulative effect, I think, on the whole team.
How about Kevin Gausman today?
Boy, does he have to execute, and really that's what it comes down to, because he's been getting hit this year. 90 hits in the American League, second most in the AL, and it's all about location. See Caleb Joseph setting up down and away. Here it comes. Fastball missing, up and out over. This leads to a home run by Freese in that Pirates series. Here's a Yankee hitter. How about Holiday? Down and away is the target. Missing in belt high. Yeah, wasn't hit hard, but the fact that he missed by that much gave Holiday a chance. Slider, supposed to be down and away. Off the plate, down and away. It stays middle in and gets hit hard. Both the frustration of Castillo behind the plate and Gausman. That's been a common theme with everybody in this rotation, aside from Dylan Bundy, who's been very consistent. But just the command of all the pitches, primarily the fastball. And when they're on with their location, they tend to get deeper in ball games and pitch better games.
Well, in the great storied history of the Yankee franchise, there have been a lot of offensive lineups that have produced some great numbers. Amazingly, this year, so far in a third of a season, this Yankee ball club is matching some of the greatest offensive numbers ever around Major League Baseball. So you just can't miss against this Yankee team right now.
Well, they have great youth and exciting young players, and I think they're kind of rejuvenating some of the older players. I mean, you look at the outfield of Gardner having a career year right now, 13 home runs. Of course, this team being paced by Aaron Judge, who's just an amazing superstar, quality at bats, 19 home runs, hit his 19th in last night's ball game. They have 5 players with double-digit home runs. I mean, this is the Bronx Bombers of the new age, and they're putting it together right now, and it is a tough team to deal with.
And for the Orioles, they will be without Manny Machado for yet another game. He has not gone on the DL. The Orioles are still trying to pace this out, but Showalter said maybe he could be used as a pinch hitter today.
You know, in my mind, Manny Machado is the key to this whole season. If he can come back and be the Manny Machado that we saw last year offensively, consistent at bats all the way through, just pick things up slowly but surely and have his presence in the middle of the lineup and him play that Gold Glove caliber defense, it could turn things around completely for this team.
All right, we'll see whether or not the Orioles can get it done here today and avoid the sweep from the Yankees. When we come back, big house expected. Lots of O's fans have been up for the weekend Orioles-Yankees Game 3. On Masson is brought to you by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. And by Royal Farms. Pick up your ROFO rewards card today at any Royal Farms to save on gas and to start earning points for free stuff. Summer has arrived here in New York. Temperature is going to be in the mid-90s today. BGE Home, Baltimore's home team for heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical. Why would you call anyone else? And that's where we are today. It's going to be a warm one out there. Humidity's not so bad. Mostly sunny for the remainder of the afternoon for this Game 3. Let's take a look at the starting lineup. The Orioles lineup brought to you by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. Smith, Scope, and Jones, Trumbo, Davis, and Mancini, Castillo, Hardy, and Tejada. Chris, over the last 10, the numbers: 4 home runs and 8 RBIs. Pretty good delivery right there. Landis Sims with the ceremonial first pitch. He's left-handed and he got it to the plate. Sign him up.
There you go. Let's take a look at Chad Green's scouting report. Yeah, he's got a power arm, big fastball, and a slurvy type slider. Come at you. Inconsistent at times, but boy, has it been sharp out of the bullpen, and he is looking to stay. Came on as a 5th starter in spring training. Lost a job, sent back down to the minor leagues, been recalled a couple times, and has done a nice job out of the bullpen, pitching to a 1.62. He'd like to get that 5th spot back with Tanaka down right now. Take a look at his numbers on the year. This will be his 8th game, but first start of the season, pitching to a 1.62 out of the bullpen, 16 2/3. He's got 20 punch-outs, hence that big fastball. Opponents hitting just 115. Righties 139, lefties just 0.63. He's given up a couple home runs, and he's had some problems in the past with the Orioles lineup. Had a couple spot starts in the past. The Orioles have been able to get to him. Chris Davis, a couple home runs. Trumbo's hit a homer. So the Orioles familiar with Green. Whereas this year, different kind of confidence coming out of the bullpen. See how long he lasts today. Joe already talked about 50 to 60 pitches.
Yeah, Joe, that's probably going to be it regarding strength he's going to have as far as going into the ball game. And the Heat will take a little bit of that out of him. Girardi's ball club has won 4 in a row. They are 4-1 on the current homestand. They're in first place. They have a 3-game lead over the Red Sox, 5.5 over the Orioles. Orioles 2 games above 500, 31-29. The Orioles have lost 3 consecutive. They are now 5-6 against the Yankees on the year. The Yankees come into this with a run differential of 104. The Orioles come in with a -29. Yet they are separated by just 5.5 games. And for the Orioles, it's about rising up again after that very tough defeat in the ball game yesterday, where the Yankees took off in the first and never looked back. Seth Smith is in the leadoff spot for the Orioles, and the delivery will be taken up high for a ball. Seth has had an 0 for 4 in this series here in New York. Not a lot of at-bats by either righties or lefties against Green.
It'd be really nice if the Orioles offense could maybe put a run or 2 on the board, get them feeling a little bit better about playing here at Yankee Stadium, because they have had some struggles.
Al Porter, home plate umpire, called a strike on that one. And Smith, a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Seth getting the chance. Long day for Chris Tillman and a very short outing yesterday. And the bullpen could do nothing to resurrect the game for the Orioles. Swing and a miss on a tailing pitch away. Our StatCast powered by AWS. Torres now will make the move as he goes over, with the count being 1-2. So they move the third baseman over to the second base position, leave Didi Gregorius on the shortstop side. That's our first moving StatCast, and the pitch will be taken away. We could think we can get the moving one sponsored by somebody else. The moving StatCast is brought to you by. That's pretty good.
I liked it.
Yeah, I like that. 2-ball, 2-strike count. Now if we can get the velocity of the third baseman going over to the second base side, then we'll be all right. We'll have it all. 2-2 delivery on the way, and the pitch will be taken up high, and Smith will work him after the 85-mile-an-hour delivery to the 3-2 count.
I think it's kind of funny how sometimes you see shifts where with 2 strikes, on occasion they'll play to pull more, and on other times They'll go the other way with 2 strikes. And it's just a different type of hitter, a mentality with 2 strikes. Smith goes out to get it a little bit more.
Set up away. Pitch was there, but fouled off. And Seth continues to do what he has done all season for the Orioles, particularly in that leadoff spot, and that's work pitchers early.
Yeah, he's done a nice job at the top. That is the key as a leadoff hitter. Ability to see a lot of pitches, let the guys know what the starting pitcher has behind him. And his job is to try to get everything in the book thrown to him. 7th
pitch of this at bat, 3-2 delivery on the way, and upstairs got him.
Now, one thing the Orioles are familiar with, take a look at the Mercedes pitch cast. The fact that Green likes to elevate the fastball. Here 98 looks so good. A little extra life up there at the top of the zone. Big arm from Green.
A lot of strikeouts during this 3-game losing streak for the Orioles. They are now 12th in the league offensively in strikeouts. Here is Jonathan Scope, moved up to the number 2 spot with Manny Machado out. Jones hitting 3rd. So Scope gets moved up from that 5 or 6 spot into the number 2 hole. He's gone 1 for 7 with a homer here in this series, hitting just .200 against the Yankees on the season, but he has delivered 7 RBIs. Pretty good RBI number for a Mendoza batting average. The pitch and off-speed delivery will be taken inside, and Scope will get ahead on the count 2-0.
Green had talked a little bit after the game last night, because he just found out that he was going to have this opportunity. Of course, they let him know a few days ago, but he's just talking about being aggressive, staying in the strike zone, wanting to stay in as long as possible.
Gonna miss a little bit low. Yeah, they were holding him in the bullpen. If they'd had to use him in the bullpen, then obviously he wouldn't have started today, and they would have gone down to get Mitchell out of the minors. But since Green did not have to be used in this series, here he is starting. The 3-0 delivery on the way, taken, and that is going to be in there for a strike. Against the Orioles, 3rd consecutive start that Chad Green has had against the Orioles. He's given up 4 earned runs in each of the last 2 that were last season, obviously. 3-1 delivery, set up, down and away, put it right in the glove, and another full count at 3-2.
A nice angle there, driving it down to the bottom of the knees. Good hitters count, but a big fastball, 96 miles an hour, located pretty well down in that lower third.
2 3-2 counts to start the ball game. Jonathan Scope waits on it, and Jonathan will have the same result as Smith.
Boy, that's a cheese right there, down and away, 98 miles an hour. You stay short or it is going to get by you. Jonathan trying to stay short here with the 2 strikes. Boy, good location, well executed, and a couple miles an hour firmer.
He was striking out more than a batter per inning in the minors this year. He had 38 strikeouts in 30 innings in minor league games, and used mostly out of the bullpen. Here is Adam Jones. Adam a 1 for 6 in the series. He has gone 2 for 2 lifetime against Chad Green. Green as a starter, and there haven't been many of them. This is his 9th career start, his first this year. He is 2 and 4 with a 5.94 earned run average as a starter. As a bullpen guy, his ERA is 1.62. Jones will put it up in the air, 3rd base side. Sanchez will take a look, but it's out of play.
And take a look at the Yankees defense here behind Green. Gardner, Hicks, and Judge will roam the stadium outfield. They're doing a pretty good job of it as well. Gregorius and Castro turn 2 up the middle. Torres getting the start at 3rd base, and Carter getting the start at 1st. Haven't seen them too often. Sanchez behind the plate.
Adam Jones with a 0-2 count. Yankee fans applauding for a 3 strikeout inning. 0-2 delivery on the way up. Somebody asked me this morning, do you think the Yankee outfield is as good as any outfield in the American League? Now, you got to think about that and think about the other teams, etc. But when I got done thinking about it, I think they probably are. I mean, not exceedingly better. That's going to go foul, but certainly up there. I mean, the Red Sox outfield is considered to be a pretty good one. The Orioles outfield gets moved around so much, it's very hard to judge it because so many people are playing in it. This is a pretty good outfield, good defensive outfield.
Oh, absolutely, and I think set up by obviously Aaron Judge over there in right field, but Gardner, the great veteran, has been a mainstay in this Yankee outfield. Is having one of his stronger years. And they just lost Ellsbury, who's having a great year out in center field. But how about the backup Hicks has all of a sudden become a front runner to be the starting center fielder in the All-Star game, not even on the ballot, and just putting up some monster numbers right now. So when Ellsbury comes back, think about that depth right there. So they're covering some ground out there. They're playing good defense. They're one of the top-rated defensive teams in baseball. Second or third defensively, but offensively, they're the best offensive outfield in the game.
1 ball, 2 strike count. Jones getting the new bat. The shift put on a little. Castro, the second baseman, almost behind the bag. 1-2 delivery to Adam, and he'll put that one up in the air to left. Gardner, high sky, lots of glare. The glasses on, and we'll put it away. So Green starts it out with a 1-2-3 inning. Kevin Gausman is going to go to the mound. We'll check his numbers when we come back. Day here at Yankee Stadium for the Oriole fans on hand. As let's take a look at the Yankee lineup. Gardner, Hicks, and Judge, Holiday, Castro, Sanchez, Gregorius, Carter, and Torreyes. Aaron Judge this year against the Orioles. Steaming.
Take a look at Kevin Gausman's scouting report. Hey, how about starting a new trend? Orioles starters, wow, they've been getting knocked out early in the ball game. Chris Tillman, of course, last night going an inning and a third. It's been a 2-inning start. There's been a 4-inning start. Come on, Kevin, time to turn it around and get deep. Miss off, not on. The mistakes he's making are leaking back over the plate. How about when you throw a slider down and away, put it in the dirt away. That 2-seam fastball, get it in. Take a belt buckle off one time. 5.86 earned run average. It's coming down slow but sure. But Kevin Gausman's numbers way elevated. Still giving up a lot of hits. We're going to minimize damage today.
And the first pitch is a base hit. Gardner now has a 5-game hit streak, a single up the middle.
Now let's take a look at the Oriole defense behind Gausman. Mancini getting another start in left field. Jones in center, Smith over in right. Hardy and Scope once again up the middle. Tejada getting the start at third base with Machado on the shelf. Chris Davis over at first, and Castillo back behind the plate.
We'll talk about the Yankee offense and what Gausman's up against. Aaron Hicks hitting second, 3-game hit streak. During the 4-game win streak the Yankees have, they have outscored their opponents 41-6 in 4 games. They have hit 8 home runs in the last 2 days against the Orioles, 3-1 and 5, of course, in the ball game yesterday. Hicks has got a 5 for 19 lifetime against Kevin Gausman. The Orioles, Tejada will play in at third base. No bunt there. Ball hit in the air to center. Adam Jones. So they are jumping on first pitches, at least the first 2 hitters are.
Well, you got to believe they know Kevin Gausman's got to establish that fastball and get ahead with a first pitch strike. So they're coming out aggressive, much like they did in yesterday's ball game. Tillman was trying to find the zone. They were just looking out over, hunting mistakes, and getting them.
It'll bring up Aaron Judge. Judge, the 3 for 8 with a homer and 3 RBIs picked up in this series. He's hitting .417 against the Orioles this year. 6 home runs and 13 RBIs. And this the 12th game these teams have played. Gardner back to the bag for Kevin Gausman against the Yankees. His 3rd start against them this year. He is 1-0. Lifetime 7-3 with a very good 2.63 ERA against New York for Kevin. 1 down. Judge is going to get a base hit into right field. He nubbed it off the fist. Gardner is on his way to 3rd. Played back into the cutoff man by Smith. Well, when you're that strong, he didn't get much of that, but he didn't need to.
No. 2-seam fastball riding hard in, and little jam shot over to right field. Take a look at the rest of these numbers by Kevin Gausman. Last year, 2016, that .95 whip, pretty impressive, keeping the Yankees off base. This year, over 2 runners per inning. You should know it. A couple runners on base right now against Kevin Gausman.
So the Yankees threatening again early against the O's. And Kevin, as with Orioles starters, has had problems. He's given up 7 first-inning runs and 11 second-inning runs this season. Here is Holiday, the DH. Big series. He's gone 5 for 8, a homer, 4 RBIs. 1st and 3rd, only 1 down. And another first swing, first pitch.
Yeah, well, the hanging slider right there. Castillo wanting it down and away, and it's a meatball just spinning up over the zone, so the sights are being elevated. That 96-mile-an-hour fastball that was really boring in hard on Judge. Not that it wasn't a terrible pitch. Wanted the pitch away, but it was belt high. You're giving a hitter an extra opportunity if you keep it on that level plane across the belt.
0-1 the count. Matt Holliday outside to him. Holliday, along with Adam Jones, 2 players in this game who are in the top 10 with runners in scoring position. Adam still leads the American League. He's hitting .400. And for Holliday, he is 4th at .367. And he gets his first chance here in the 1st inning. 1 ball, 1 strike count. Gardner, Judge, the base runners. Pitch on the way, scooped off the plate by Castillo.
Boy, nice pick right there by Castillo. Take a look at Kevin Gausman's pitches here, and the averages, everything elevated for Kevin Gausman. The fastball 326, curveball's getting hit hard, slider as well. I mean, so many of these obviously leading to those big numbers that unfortunately Kevin's put up this year. The 90 hits, 2nd in the American League, 44 runs given up. It's a 5th in the American League. It's been hard for Kevin Gausman, but he slowly but surely has been kind of turning a corner. Last few starts, he's lowered his earned run average.
There goes the runner, Judge. No throw.
Nice anticipation right there by Aaron Judge.
The dish is just rattled in your kitchen. That was Judge sliding into second base.
Great block by Castillo. Hard slider down and away. Castillo able to turn that shoulder, get around the baseball, keep it in front of him with a good anticipation by Judge, and of course speed at 3rd base. Castillo's got to beware. He fires it down to 2nd. Gardner's going to be running.
Well, now 2 in scoring position. Wild pitch, 2nd one charged against Gausman this year. And Holliday, a base hit, could put the Yankees up early. Infield will stay back. Outfield deep. Timeout asked for by Matt Holliday as he steps out. Yankees offense, of course, just dominating their games. Everything else kind of gets overshadowed. 2nd in average, but 1st in runs. Tied for 1st in home runs. 3-1 delivery by Gausman. Check swing, slider away, and they're loaded.
Good slider, though. Real good slider. That's the pitch you want. Location. Be consistent in that spot. Good things are going to happen.
So the bases are loaded. Gausman 1 ground ball away from getting out of the inning. But he's going to have to face Starlin Castro. Castro, the league's 7th best average at .324. He is 2nd in hits only to Corey Dickerson of Tampa Bay. Dickerson's got 81 hits. Castro has got 77. So the sack's full, 1 out. Orioles play a double play depth. Castro with a 5-game hit streak, couple of home runs, 4 RBIs in this series. Gausman's delivery to him, another one. They're just going to go after every first pitch here and a strike.
Well, they're going to swing at pitches that are on the plate. And, continually looking at Castillo, setting up where his glove is, where he wants the pitch, and it seems like a magnet. This keeps getting leaked right back over the heart of the plate. That fastball supposed to be up and in. Maybe open up that outside corner early in the count. And it was a gut ball.
Especially when you know they're going after the first pitch. Yeah. Maybe even keep it a little bit away from the strike zone. 0-1 count. Castro waiting on it. Goes after it. He's got a base hit to center field. Gardner will score. Judge is coming home. Throw by Jones all the way through. Not in time. And Castro, a 2 RBI single.
This Yankee offense is really working right now. A changeup that once again, you see it work right back over the plate. Good piece of hitting that he keeps his hands back there. And it's another pitch on too much of the white. Right back up the middle. Judge with a good jump at second base. Yankees on the board early.
2-0 lead. Castro now has 10 RBIs against the Orioles this season. And immediately Roger McDowell will come out to the mound. Try and calm Gausman down with runners at first and second. Sanchez coming up and only 1 away. Already not the start Kevin Gausman and the Orioles wanted.
Well, the fact of the matter, you got to have the ability to pitch inside. I mean, Yankees offense, obviously great talented players, but feeling very comfortable right now. And they're taking some aggressive first pitch hacks off Kevin Gausman. He's trying to get it in there, move the feet, but he can't execute that pitch. He's got to force the issue, and if it means, you know, catching a piece of the uniform, so be it. I mean, this Yankee offense is just having their will with the starting pitchers. Kevin Gausman's got to move some feet, make them feel uncomfortable.
Well, Sanchez certainly one of those you don't want to groove to. He's red hot. 4-game hit streak for him. 3 for 11 off Kevin Gausman. 1 down, 2 on, first and second. Movement on that one. That'll catch the inside corner for a strike. The Yankees, with runners in scoring position coming into this third game, had gone 8 for 26 with runners in scoring position. A lot of chances. The Orioles only 10 total chances and only 1 hit in the first 2 games. 0-1 count on Sanchez. Oh my, way back in left field, and goodbye home run. Gary Sanchez, a 3 RBI homer, his second in this series, and he is now 7 RBIs in these 3 games.
Well, they are not missing mistakes. And take a look at Castillo right here. After a nice slider down at the bottom of the zone, Castillo wants it up and in. Down and in is the location on that inside corner. Too much of the plate there. Good job getting ahead, but the pitch meant to be up and in. Tougher pitch to handle. Pretty easy for Sanchez there.
Boy, this team is just so hot. And they have a 5-0 lead. Pitch on the way, ground ball, broken bat, played by Gausman off Gregorius's bat, and he will be retired for the second out in the inning. So the 9th home run by the Yankees in this series, picked up by Sanchez, and the Yankees jump out to get 5 runs on 4 hits so far here in the first inning.
Yeah, they aren't missing at all. Mistakes on the plate. They're aggressive. They're hitting them hard.
10 home runs, 28 RBIs for Sanchez on the year, by the way. Here is Carter, Chris Carter. He will take the pitch away for a ball. 8th Yankee to hit here in the first inning. He's had a 2 for 5 in the first 2 games. Shift on in the infield, and he gets the good fastball at 96 miles an hour by him. So 1 ball, 1 strike count on Carter. 3 singles, a walk, and a home run here in the inning. Pitch will just miss away. This is what Buck Showalter has talked about with this Yankee lineup, as have a lot of people. You get a guy like Carter batting 8th. I mean, this is a home run hitter.
Yeah.
Great power. Swing and a miss. Good pitch, tailing away.
Yeah, real good pitch from Kevin Gausman. He's thrown a couple good sliders in this inning. Fastball command still a little suspect and has made some mistakes.
Here's the 2-2 delivery on the way. Carter will take it away. Yankee batters loving Yankee Stadium this year with a long ball. That home run by Sanchez is the 60th home run they have hit in this ballpark. They've out-homered opponents 60-40. That one on a broken bat into left center field, and it's going to fall in. Adam Jones miscommunicating, and Mancini. That ball's got to be caught, and the two of them just kind of stopped.
Yeah, a little communication right there, but it's a little too late. And this is a problem with these big first innings. Here we go again. Kaipa syndrome actually carrying over to the outfield right there. Not willing to look over, find out where your partner's positioned defensively. Communicate at every pitch, every opportunity. And there, a terrible miscue in the Oriole outfield. Adam Jones shaded over in that right center field gap. And you see the frustration there by the captain.
And now Torres will get an at bat. It keeps the inning alive. Should have been over. Ground ball, that'll go towards short. Hardy's got a force. Jonathan Scope is there, and that will do it. I honestly think one of the problems on that ball dropping in, Adams' legs are sore, and the way he ran after that is not the way he'd normally chase it. William Friesen from Baltimore, 500 for being selected, 500 more for every Orioles home run hit today. Play Home Run Rich's Scratch Offs, win up to $50,000, or enter non-winning tickets for a chance to be the contestant of the game. Visit mdlottery.com/homerun. William, good luck. Yankees take the early lead, 5-0. Orioles will have Trumbo, Davis, and Mancini coming up here in the second inning. Mark Trumbo stands in, has not had a hit in the first two games, 0 for 7. He is the designated hitter, batting cleanup.
Zoom ball right there, natural cut, and then 95-mile-an-hour fastball from Green. The Orioles offense, it is tough and be challenged from behind. Seems like on a daily basis here recently, but somehow have to find the way, put together some good at bats, force Green to work, trying to get in the Yankee bullpen. Put some runs on the board. Obviously still very early in this ball game, but baseball is a strange game. It can really turn. As bad as things look right now for the Orioles, it can turn in a wink of an eye.
Swing and a miss, keeping that pitch down and away to the right-handers. The right-handers are coming into the ball game 5 for 36 off Green with 1 home run, and the left-handers 1 for 16 with 1 home run. He's only worked 16 2/3 innings with the big club so far this year out of the bullpen, as we said. His last outing, a good one, on June 6 against Boston. He retired all 10 he faced, and that was a game where he relieved Tanaka. Struck out 5 and threw 45 pitches. 1-2 delivery, and that will be outside. His season high in pitches thrown is 48. It was in May against Houston. Tanaka, of course, was scheduled to pitch today. He is struggling, and they have moved him out of the rotation just for today. 2-2 delivery will be chopped outside of third base foul.
Yeah, thinking 1 or 2 extra days of rest might bring his arm back a little bit. He has been getting roughed up. Tanaka's given up 17 home runs here in a year. He's been getting roughed up. See, Chad Green's on an average by pitch type. It's 0.67 on the power fastball. That's his bread and butter. The heat. Slow hitters down with the slurve. He'll come with the noise. Try for quick innings.
Another 3-2 count. 3 out of the 4 Oriole batters so far have had 3-ball 2-strike counts on them. Trumbo waiting on it, and he'll go after one upstairs and foul it back into the screen. Well, the race in the American League East, Yankees trying to put some distance on with their 4-game win streak. 3 over Boston, 5.5 over the Orioles, 6 over Tampa Bay, 7.5 over Toronto. So the Orioles are only a half game ahead of Tampa Bay for 4th in the division. 3-2 delivery, and again Trumbo will yank it foul.
Yeah, thank goodness for that April cushion. Give the Orioles kind of play off of and keep them in the hunt here until they can kind of regroup, stabilize a little bit. I think Buck Showalter has been challenged with a bullpen that has kind of been faltering with a couple injuries now as well. O'Day back on the DL.
9th pitch of the at bat is the 3rd strikeout for Green.
High eater to the top of the zone a couple times off Mark Trumbo. 3-2 count. There it is. Puts it up by the eyes. Looks good. Rides in. That's where it ties him up.
So that's 3 strikeouts. Shift will be put on against Chris. He waits. Altareas, the third baseman, heads over to the shallow right field position. And the pitch will be up high. Chris has gone 2 for 4 against Chad Green, and both of the hits he's had against him have been home runs. Here in this series, just a 1 for 5 for Chris. 1-0 delivery on the way. Davis will take the pitch away. Last night for Davis.
Yeah, big fly. 11 of his 14 home runs off right-handed pitching. This time going the other way. Deep left center into the Orioles bullpen. Coach Davis, big-time numbers against the Yankees in his career. 29 career homers.
Swinging and a miss. Someone he got up by the letters. Chris now has hit 8 home runs away from Camden Yards and 6 in Camden Yards this season. Davis, 2-ball 1-strike count. Green's delivery to him, and he went right back to the same spot. See Chris turning around at El Porto, the home plate umpire, asking him, was that a strike or not?
It looked like Sanchez wanting a fastball actually down and in, but you see the life. 96 at the top of the zone. Of course, Crusher, a little bit of a natural dip in that swing. And the ball gets over the top.
2-2 delivery. Right-hander will miss away. Well, he's going to get the pitch count up in a hurry. Another 3-2 count. 4 out of 5. We've gone 3-2 against Green.
See how they're trying to work Chris Davis. Wouldn't be surprised if they attack up and in again here. The 3-2 count.
That one is high in the air, left center. Gardner and Hicks. Hicks wants it. 2 down. Father's Day weekend at Oriole Park. It'll be packed with new Birdland memories as the O's take on the Cardinals. Friday, June 16 is fireworks night presented by Maryland Excels. Then on Father's Day, Sunday, June 18, all fans 15 and over receive the grayscale cap, followed by Kids Run the Bases presented by Wise Markets for the youngsters 4 to 14. Tickets at Orioles.com or 888-848-BIRD. Trey Mancini. Mancini with a 1 for 8 in the first 2 games. Chad Green last year, 12 games, all 8 of them as a starter. Went 2 and 4 with the Yankees. Spent most of it at AAA. Pitch is in. He's 25 years old, out of Greenville, South Carolina. Lives in Illinois now. Picked up from the Tigers in a deal back in December of 15. 1-1 pitch, slider way outside at 97, 2-1.
Busts him in real hard to open up that outside corner. He's missing as that cuts hard off the outer edge.
Here's the 2-1 delivery. Mancini took about 7 miles an hour off that pitch, and it's 2-2.
Yeah, slowed it down. That's his cutter. Throws it hard. 88, 89, that one 91 miles an hour, and plays it off the firm fastball. Pretty good adjustment.
2-2 set up away and fouled away. Trey Mancini, as we are on the 11th of this June, hitting .241 with a couple of home runs this month. Orioles have been led by Jonathan Scope in average and in homers, 324 full home runs so far in the month of June. Sanchez leading the way for the Yankees along with Judge. Sanchez moved down in that batting order, and away the bat went, and it hasn't stopped. 2-2 delivery again, and that's down low.
You see him playing a pretty good defense behind the plate as well. Block right there. He's been calling a good game, giving good signs. Down low with his target. He's been working Mancini in and out hard.
So 3-2 again, 5 out of 6 hitters. This one he loses. So the first walk and first base runner for the Orioles, a 2-out walk here in the second inning. Trey Mancini on. Orioles get back their starting catcher Wellington Castillo yesterday. He ended up with an 0 for 3 in the ball game, but he is hitting .286 against the Yankees this year with a home run.
Yeah, fortunately for Castillo, he said those good offensive numbers. Just a couple stints on the disabled list set him back a little bit. He, along with the rest of the Oriole catchers, Caleb Joseph, did some impressive things offensively, putting up some big numbers. Certainly not a weakness in this Oriole team.
0-1 delivery on the way. Tomahawks that one to left field on the warning track. It'll be hauled in by Gardner. No runs, no hits, no errors, and one left on base. Bottom of the second coming. Yankees the early 5-0 lead. League leaders, when you're talking cars, you're talking Coons.
Yeah, of course, Sanchez hitting a home run today, adding to this home runs per game total at 3.30, first in the American League. The Yankees leading American League in home runs with 98, but 60 here at home. And of course, their pitchers have given up a lot of home runs as well. At third in the American League, giving up 69. So yeah, a lot of them coming here at Yankee Stadium. Everything else up as well. The runs per game, Yankees scoring over 5 per game this season, almost 6 per game. Yankee Stadium, short porch over in right field, and his team taking advantage of it.
Yankees batted around in the first inning, getting the 5 runs on 5 hits. So Gardner starts it again. 5-game hit streak for him, a base hit, a run scored. He's got a .324 plus average against Gausman lifetime, and has delivered 1 home run off him. And as Mike mentioned, Gardner is having a, which is pretty tough to say with his career, a career year, or at least a career start to this year. He has been on fire. Slow start, and then has picked it up and is really getting the numbers done in that leadoff spot.
No, he's a classic table setter. You know, he'll work a count, high on base percentage, steal some bases.
1 ball, 1 strike delivery to him. Gardner will pop that one up in the air towards center. Adam Jones is there to put it away, and 1 down in the 2nd inning. Gausman gets the first down. He's retired 65% of leadoff batters this year. Not bad, not as good as it should be. I'd like to get up around that 70 mark, but that's another area where he is slowly picking up that number. Here's Aaron Hicks, flied out to center field. His first time up. Hicks has been getting on base regularly, 17 straight games, best of his career that he has reached base, and he's hitting .355 during that stretch. He's had 3 home runs, 8 doubles, and 15 RBIs over those 17 games. Pitch is taken away, and he gets ahead of the count, 2-0.
A lot of teams, well, not a lot. Of course, the Minnesota Twins, whose first-round pick, he just did not ever blossom with them. Up and down a couple years with the Twins. Yankees were able to pick him up in a little trade, and wow, is he taking off.
Big swing. The off-speed delivery. He was out in front of it. And Hicks with a 2-ball, 1-strike count from Kevin Gausman. Trying to settle it in here in the 2nd inning. Get control of this ball game again. Judge waiting on deck. 2-1 delivery. Kevin has been one of those reverse pitchers when it comes to home and road. We have talked about it all year, and it continues. His road ERA is the 7th highest in the majors and the 2nd highest in the American League at 7.71 on the road. And we've said how often you'd think it would be the other way around for Orioles starters, but it hasn't been.
Yeah, just try to find a way to do something different.
Let him to go chase that thing. Long run, Mancini. And they're not going to get that one either. So it was Mancini and Tejada, and landed right between them.
Wow, Mancini, for as good as he's been playing out in left field, really a new position for him last couple of nights. Been able to hear him call out that he has the baseball a little tentative right there coming into the infield. Somebody's got to take charge. As infielders go back for a baseball, they don't call the baseball. They either wave their arms if they're underneath it to let an outfielder know that they have the ball in their sights and they can make a play on it. It's the outfielder that's got to scream them off the baseball, literally scare them away from the ball so they can make a play.
2-2 delivery on the way, and it'll be outside. And you saw Trey Mancini there looking at Tejada. He kept ball Tejada, ball Tejada, instead of just saying, I'm going to try and get this thing.
Right. Exactly. Taking charge. Priorities all around the field, and certainly the outfielders have priority over every infield.
3-ball, 2-strike delivery on the way, and Milwaukee. Second walk surrendered by Gausman with 1 away here in the 2nd inning. Well, hosts your next group outing at Oriole Park. Discounted ticket prices for groups as small as 15. Party facilities up to 1,000. Oriole Park can make your group outing an experience you'll never forget. Group leaders can earn a variety of incentives. To learn more, visit Orioles.com/groups. Aaron Judge picking up the base hit. He is now 4 for 10 with 2 home runs off Kevin Gausman, and he will take the pitch down low for the ball. You need to scroll all of the departments where Judge is leading or close to it in offense. 5th in batting, 1st in homers, He's tied for first in RBIs. His batting average at home is .376, the best in the league. 13 home runs here is the most in the league, and 29 RBIs at home is the most in the league. The 1-0 pitch to him, taken outside, gets away, runner will advance. Ooh, throw, but there was no chance.
Steele working back there, another spike slider, hard down and away. Good 2-strike pitch, not a pitch you're looking for to get into the count.
Second wild pitch charged on Gosman. So he's had one more in this game than he'd had all year coming in. One down, 2-0 count.
I say, well, you might as well just put him on, but geez, that hitter's Holiday's got 6 home runs this year against the Orioles.
Came in with a fastball at 97. Sano of Minnesota leading the American League in RBIs. He's got 46. Nelson Cruz has tied him, and Judge is 2 behind him. Sano, one of the many Twins having an outstanding start to the year. 2-1 delivery on the way. Tried for the inside corner, missed it. And the count will go to 3-1 on Judge.
Kevin Gausman has made a couple good pitches on the inside corner. Both lefties and righties in this inning. Nice pitch with the fastball. You see well in off the plate. Why not get it in there? Started Gardner off with a good fastball, and Hicks as well.
Runner off second, 3-1 delivery will be fouled away. But his home run yesterday was what, 121 miles an hour or something? Highest on StatCast this year.
Yes, it was. He broke his own record of 119. A legend here in his rookie year. Chris Tillman, unfortunate short outing. Tough first inning after a couple quick outs. The Yankee offense came alive, didn't look back.
3 ball, 2-strike count with 1 away. Hicks the walk, wild pitch to second. Full count delivery, and walked him. So the third walk, 2 in the inning. Puts 2 on, and only 1 down. And it'll bring Holiday to the plate. Just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller Time later in our ball game today, brought to you by Miller Lite. Kevin Gausman has, for the most part, been able to keep the walks down. He walked 5 2 starts ago. That was against New York, and that 5 is a season high against the Yankees in that outing. He gave up only 3 runs, 8 hits, and 5 1/3. In a 7-3 win by the Orioles. And that one is going to be fouled off by Holiday. Holiday drew a walk and scored in the first inning. Holiday, the Yankees DH, and he has filled that role well. He is up among the leaders in the American League in DH numbers, which this year, part of it being the retirement of David Ortiz, the DH numbers are down as far as production is concerned all around the American League. 0-1 count. Holiday as a DH is 5th in average, 2nd in home runs, and 3rd in RBIs among the DHs.
Yeah, I think baseball is slowly but surely starting to phase out the strictly DH type player, looking for players that are more versatile, can play a little potential first base or corner outfield position.
1-1 delivery on the way. That's in there. The days of the Edgar Martinez and the David Ortiz and the guys who were, that's what they did. That's how they made their living. You're right. Seems to be going away. Of course, if you hit like David Ortiz or Edgar Martinez, you can still
find
have
a job. Oh, absolutely. You'll find a job. Heck yeah.
1 ball, 2-strike count, delivery to Holiday. And to Holiday's credit, he can. I mean, he's, as a veteran, he's not going to play on the field very much, but he still can get the job done at the plate.
Absolutely.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Hicks on at second, Judge on at first. Matt Holliday will take the pitch. Gosman having trouble against the right-handers, finding an inside strike on that inside corner. Not been able to quite get it there, and the Yankees are not going after it. They're just spitting on it.
Well, I'll tell you what, though, I'd much rather see Kevin Gosman miss in off the plate and try to get a fastball in off the plate and miss on that inner third.
Yeah.
I mean, it is dangerous in there, especially these power hitters.
And he walks him, and they're loaded. That's 4 walks, 3 in a row.
It would have been nice to get that call right there. Good fastball at 98 miles an hour, but Alan Border thinking it's a little bit low. Even that low strike across the knees.
So for the second time in as many innings, the Yankees have loaded the bases. And it's Castro again. He came up with the bases loaded in the first inning and got a 2 RBI single. He's going to get another chance at it here in the second inning. And again, 1 down, and again for Gosman, that 1 ground ball away from being able to get out of the inning. So the Yankees threatening here in the second. Hicks, Judge, Holiday, the base runners. Gosman's delivery. A miss inside for a ball. Castro's getting his 8th chance with the bases loaded. That base hit he got in the first inning with the sacks full was his first bases loaded hit this year. Infield double play depth, and the outfield straight away. And the Orioles bullpen is already active. Timeout asked for by Castillo. Barrett's warming up in the bullpen, just called up today. As the Orioles needed more help. Logan Barrett, Yacobonis, Jimmy Yacobonis. They are both here in the bullpen. 1-0 count. Pitch on the way. Big cut. And a 1 ball, 1 strike count.
That comes from Kevin Gosman and Castillo getting on the same page with the righties, really trying to drive that fastball in there. Castillo actually cheating for the heater in. Ball down in the zone, well below the strike zone, but he's looking to do some damage, so expanding. Nice job for Gosman to get back into the count.
The way Stefan Crichton was sent back to AAA, and Edwin Jackson is now designated for assignment. He had no options. 1 ball, 1 strike delivery, and that's a chopper to second. There's the one they wanted. There's one. Jonathan Scope, plenty of time, and turns the double play. No runs, no hits, no errors. 2 are left on base, avoiding danger. Kevin Gosman with help from the D. For you, Yonder Alonso, Oakland had a 7-hit day, a doubleheader. He's the first major leaguer this year with 7 hits in 1 day. The Nationals lost the game after leading by 2 runs in the 9th inning. They now have lost for the third time this season, a major league high. Of course, they still have a 10.5 game lead over the Mets. And Evan Longoria, fifth major league player with a game-winning RBI in 2 extra inning games this season. Mark Trumbo has done that 4 times. Melky Cabrera, Albert Pujols, and Hunter Pence also with those extra inning game-winning RBIs. Little discussion about what's been going on out there in the outfield. Learning session with the skipper and Trey Mancini.
Absolutely. Nice to see Buck Showalter over there. Have a little discussion with the young left fielder, making sure he understands what is required. These balls cannot drop in the Oriole outfield.
Pitch on the way, and that's going to be in there for a strike. Chad Green, Hardy, Tejada, and Smith are due up. They've already got Shreve up in the bullpen. So the spot start being made by Chad Green may well be at just about the pitch count Joe Girardi was talking about. He's hurt his chances to go maybe an extra inning with the 3-2 counts that he's picked up. 5 of the first 6 hitters for the Orioles went 3-2. 1-2 delivery, that's going to be down low. J.J. Hardy a 2 for 4 lifetime off the 26-year-old right-hander Chad Green.
And he'd like to get a couple hits here, get that average going again, heading in the right direction. He had jumped it up nearing 220, and J.J. was going to start getting on a roll, but it's tapered back down last week.
Fouled that one out of play. Count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Orioles finish up here. Head on to Chicago. 4-game series starts tomorrow night. The Orioles trying to leave here and not be swept. There's not been a sweep in the last 9 series. And that's going to be a base hit. He tagged that one into the corner. Gardner goes after it, and Hardy will scoot on to second base. So J.J. gets the Orioles' first hit, and the Orioles have the leadoff man on.
A great swing by J.J. Hardy, picking up his 8th double. Turn and burn on the hanging breaking ball. Hovering in the middle of the plate. Wow, it is whistled by Torres at third base. Gets down in the corner in a hurry, walks into second base. I see J.J. actually in the lineup. Got taken out last night on a pop fly in between Mancini and Hardy, and Mancini slid in there. He took a hard crash down on the right side.
Well, the Orioles get a chance. Get one back or more here. As Tejada stands in. Tejada's had a 2 for 5 in the series. And he'll go after it and foul it back. He's been very aggressive in his at-bats in this series against his former team. Going after some first pitches, and he's hit the ball hard.
He has. I think sometimes bottom of the lineup, new guy. A lot of times they test you. Can you get onto a fastball? He has been aggressive first strike.
0-1 the count. Hardy off second base, up high. One ball and 1 strike. Tejada getting more playing time than he probably ever imagined with Manny Machado out. 1-1 delivery on the way, fouled away. And the Orioles making the kind of move you have to look ahead for. I mean, at the time Tejada was picked up, it's kind of going to be on the depth chart for the Orioles. Because you had Ryan Flaherty hurt, so you really needed somebody, and the next thing you know, Tejada's not here more than a day, and Manny's out. He's not on the DL, but he's out.
Yeah, you know, I think a lot of times the Orioles have gone out and looked for utility infielders, a sense of being able to protect Hardy at shortstop.
Yeah.
Might be a time when he gets hurt. Just give him some time.
That one to the gap in right center field, and that ball is going to fall in. Take a hop off the top of the wall. Hardy will cross easily. Throw will come into second, not in time, and Tejada keeps it up. A double and an RBI, and the Orioles are on the board. They make it a 5-1 game.
A few nice swings here from Todd in this series. Big double there, getting the Orioles on the board. Back-to-back doubles by the Orioles, and yeah, maybe getting near 50 pitches, over 50, starting to leave some pitches in the middle up at the top of the zone, and Tejada waiting on it. Belts one, splitting both Hicks and Judge. Stake on the end for Tejada as well.
So immediately the bullpen. This pitching change brought to you by Jiffy Lube. Jiffy Lube stores now do brake service. Stop in and let Jiffy Lube perform a free brake inspection today. So for the rest of the Yankees, it's going to be about the pen.
Out of the ball game, pitch count started to get elevated. This is his first start of the year, lasting only 2 innings. See 53 pitches thrown, and manager Joe Girardi said when he gets around 50 to 60 pitches, he's going to get pulled. He's been doing a nice job, and the Yankees out of the bullpen, and it is a bullpen game. Chasing Shreve now in. This will be his 14th appearance. He's been up and down as well with the Yankees, but pitching to a .57 earned run average. The opponent average just 113. Good sinking fastball and the changeup. Changeup his best secondary pitch.
And Smith will go after the first delivery. Seth Smith, strikeout victim his first time up. Runner at second base, Tejada. Orioles have a run in, made it a 5-1 game. And Smith, while limited occasions, has done all right. He's 3 for 10 with a home run against left-handers. He, of course, platoons and generally is in there just against the righties. Shift on against him. Here's the 0-1 delivery to him. That'll be way up high. For Tejada out there at second base, just his 4th game. He has had only 10 at-bats, but he's picked up 3 hits. Drives in his first run as an Oriole, and he's got 2 doubles. Pretty good start.
Yeah, playing some solid defense as well. Moving around, utility type player. Playing third base with Machado down, but can play short second base.
Nobody out here in the top of the 3rd inning. Shreve's delivery. That one's going to be away. 2 ball, 1 strike count. So the emergency start for Masahiro Tanaka by Chad Green. A very short one is advertised, and here we go again with one of these games that's pitched by the bullpens. We saw that against the Orioles. Tampa Bay game, Kevin Cash never used a starter, just used the bullpen. And I said then and still believe this is the future of pitching in baseball. Now this one was a bit different because you took a starter out. I think more and more we're going to see games where all you see are bullpen guys.
Oh yeah, they're trying it. The Astros started implementing that piggyback system a few years ago in the minor leagues. Yep. And Buck Showalter said earlier today that hey, this is American League. 2 innings is getting deep into a ball game, so he knows as well.
3 ball, 1 strike delivery on the way, and that's going to go into the corner. Seth Smith got a hold of that one. Tejada will come around to score easily. He'll go into second base. Judge's throw cut off. So 3 doubles back to back to back here in the 3rd inning. And the Orioles are right back in it in a 5-2 game.
Absolutely right back in this ball game when they're a home run away from tying it up. That's a good sign. Seth Smith jumping all over the elevated pitch, hammering it down the right field line. And 3 doubles will get you feeling pretty good about your offense. And 2 runs on the board, cutting into that 5-run lead.
13 RBIs for Seth, who's kind of saying to his skipper, hey, Don't worry about the left-handers. I can do that.
Right. Yeah, and Shreve's kind of a funky presentation as well. A little cross body, that long arm sweeping across.
That'll bring up Jonathan Scope as the Orioles still with nobody out, 2 runs in. Shreve's delivery, and that will be in there for a strike. Jonathan hitting 242 off the left-handers. He's been one of the leaders for the Orioles with runners in scoring position this year. He and Adam Jones have been 1 and 2 on the ball club for getting folks home. 0-1 count. Castro moves in to hold the runner a little closer at second base. Shreve's delivery over the top. That's a base hit down the line. That's going to go into the corner. That'll score another run. Scope's on his way to second base, and the Orioles have 4 consecutive doubles, and they make it a 5-3 ball game.
Gosh, I feel like yelling out Yahtzee or something right now with the 4 doubles in a row. Jonathan Scope, 19th double of the season. And the Orioles putting on a little bit of a clinic right here. Slowly but surely starting to come back. I mean, this is a new ball game at 5-3. Take a look at the swing from Scope. He's had his problems against lefties. And this little cutter stays up for him. Gets a good look, pounding it by Torres at third base.
Team leading 34th RBI for Scope, who brings Smith in, and Jonathan beginning to move in on the top 10. The other Chris Davis in Oakland's got 40. He's 10th in RBIs. So Jonathan not that far away from the top 10. Here's Adam Jones, fly down his first time up. Shreve's delivery to him. That'll be in there for a strike. Well, the Orioles having a big inning, and there's still nobody out. Orioles now with the 3 runs on 4 hits. Adam hitting just 208 off left-handers after hitting 218 last year against Southpaws. 0-1 pitch on the way, and he chases one away.
That's a good fastball right there.
Jonathan Holder.
I don't know that Adam Jones expected that much noise coming off the heater. 95 on that outside corner.
Orioles taking advantage of the opportunities with a 3 for 3. And they've got their best hitter with a runner in scoring position at the plate. Best in the league. Pitch is taken up high. 1 ball, 2 strike count. Shreve having trouble finding an out. Perhaps this is going to be one of these kind of games.
Let's hope.
Where both offenses
keep going.
Yeah. 1 ball, 2 strike count. Shreve a look back. Comes back to him. Chases the runner. Scope back to second and gets Jones. And there is the first out of the inning. Orioles are going to take on the Cleveland Indians June 19 through the 22nd at Camden Yards. On Wednesday, June 21, all fans get the Dylan Bundy t-shirt. Show your Birdland pride. Paint the park orange. Tickets available starting as low as $15. For tickets, Orioles.com or 888-848-BIRD. Runner remains at second. Mark Trumbo. Strikeout victim is first time up. Trumbo 282 off lefties. 3 of his 8 home runs have been hit against Southpaws. Fouled it away. For Shreve against the Orioles this season, this is only the 2nd game he's appeared in. He had not given up a run or a hit prior to today. Walking 1, striking out 3. The Orioles have already touched him up for 1 run on 2 hits, 2 doubles. First 2 runs are charged to the starter Chad Green. 2 runs, 2 hits, 2+ innings. Struck out 3 and walked 1. 0-2.
Good pass right there. These are the type of the games, and we've seen, obviously, the Orioles have had to deal with way too many this season, and fortunately some optionable pieces so they can pull pitchers from the minor leagues. But you know, the Yankees, as good as their pitching has been, this is the type of game that could really offset it and make it disrupt the routine they've been in for the last couple weeks, and it could set them back. So we'll keep our eye on the Yankees, and hopefully the Orioles able to get into the bullpen a little bit deeper.
Certainly they will. I mean, Shreve's not going to go that far in this ball game, even if pitching well. So we'll see. This is a Buck Showalter. Let's throw the bat and balls out on the field and see what the men have in store for us today. One of his favorite lines.
Yeah, yeah.
And this game kind of looks that way right now. 0-2 count, one down. Scope at second base, and the pitch will be low. Now the Orioles, as we noted at the top, have got to find a way to win some games on the road, with 4 more coming up on this trip to Chicago. They've lost 8 straight road games. That is their longest such skid on the road since 2010. So it's been a while since they've lost that many games, and as we showed you in our open, it has been about pitching, starting pitching in particular.
Absolutely. I mean, there's an opportunity, I think. Take a look at Asher and Bundy there. For the Orioles to kind of regroup a little on the road. The White Sox certainly not playing the best baseball, last in their division.
And foul tipped into the mitt. Sanchez, did he get that? I think the home plate umpire saying it hit the dirt, and Joe Girardi's coming out.
Change up right there. Nice one, turning it over. We're going after it. It's hard to tell.
Girardi asking home plate umpire if he'll ask the other umpires for a little help on it. He will. Joe West, the crew chiefs, at first. Hunter Wendelstedt at second. Andy Fletcher at third. Huddle.
Yeah, this is be nice if the Orioles catch a break here. The changeup as Trumbo goes down after it.
Caught that.
Yes, he did.
Yeah. Got it in the webbing, and it never did touch the dirt, but the call was a foul ball, or a ball tipped up out of the dirt. See if it gets changed. Strike him out. Joe West signals it. The crew chief at first base. That'll bring Buck out.
Got some confirmation down there. That's what Buck's arguing about. Yeah, you went out and say Joe West saw that? Really? Saw the foul ball? Saw it hit the dirt? Tough to even tell if Trumbo actually made contact with that pitch.
I don't think he did.
No. It definitely went in Sanchez's glove before hitting the ground. It was stuck in the web, and then as it got pushed back, that's when the dirt kicked up. These are great opportunities here. And this is a strategic move here from Buck Showalter. Absolutely. Something to disrupt the rhythm of the Yankees, especially the pitcher out there on the mound. The legs a little tired. This Yankee team out in the field. Keep them out there as long as possible.
So a strikeout, the first for Shreve, and the second out of the inning. And that will bring Chris Davis to the plate. 2 down, runner on at second base. Orioles with 3 runs in, cutting a 5-0 deficit to a 5-3 ball game. Now Chris, 274 off lefties, 3 home runs. Shift on. Scope off second base, and the pitch is inside for a ball. For Davis, he's gone 2 for 3 off chasing Shreve, and one of those 2 hits a home run.
Yeah, right man, right spot. Actually, Chris Davis starting to swing the bat more consistently, finding some hits. Of course, nice opposite field home run last night.
1-0 delivery on the way. In case you're wondering, the Orioles' 4 consecutive singles is not a season high. Doubles, sorry. They had season high 6. That was also against the Yankees back on May 31. 1 ball, 1 strike. Shreve's delivery misses way up high. And the count goes to 2-1.
Yeah, but were those 6 consecutive? Or 4 consecutive?
No, they were 6 in a ball game.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive, flipping out 4 doubles in a row. Get the Orioles right back into the ball game.
2-ball, 1 strike count. Davis with a base hit. He's got a duck on the pond out there waiting to come home. 2-1 pitch on the way to him, and that is going to miss inside. So Shreve falls behind on Chris. 3 balls and 1 strike. Orioles will take the extra base runner if they can get it. Bring Trey Mancini to the plate.
Nice patient at bat here from Chris Davis.
And he will look for one to drive right here. Three ball, 1 strike count. We've had a lot of 3-2 counts both sides in this ball game.
That's what you get when you crush Davis, though. Nasty changeup. Of course, the open base. And even lefty on lefty. Shreve being real careful with the crushing.
So Shreve, the 26-year-old, 2-1 with the Yankees last year, looking for an out. Davis trying to keep it going. 3-2 delivery, and he gets a K. So a couple of strikeouts for Shreve, but the Orioles come away with 3 runs. Hardy started it out, picked up the double. Tejada would deliver a double and RBI. Seth Smith off a lefty, a double and an RBI, and Jonathan Scope a double and an RBI. Yankees 5, Orioles 3. Orioles baseball on Masson is brought to you by PNC Bank, for the achiever in you. By Johns Hopkins Orthopedics, serving the community for over 125 years. And by Elephant Insurance. More care, less cost. Discover the elephant difference at elephant.com. Gary Thorne and Mike Bordick here at Yankee Stadium. Orioles wrapping up this set, 5-3. Yankee lead going to the bottom of the 3rd. Kevin Gausman gets Sanchez, Gregorius, and Carter. Gary Sanchez, 3-run homer, first time up. He will take the pitch for a strike. Sanchez now has a 5-game hit streak.
This is a crucial inning for Kevin Gausman. Great job getting out of a big jam in the 2nd. Inducing a 4-6-3 double play. Oriole offense answers right back with a big double inning. Picking up 3 runs. Striking distance now with the Yankees. A shutdown inning. Almost a must for Kevin Gausman.
Sanchez with the 0-2 count. Gary Sanchez with a home run that he picked up is now tied for the lead in the majors in home runs by a catcher. Salvador Perez has picked up 10, and so now has Sanchez. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Kevin Gausman has given up 12 home runs this season. 8 of those have been hit by the right-handers, who have hit over 360 against him this year. 1-2 delivery. Sanchez will fight that one off.
Too good of a cut right there. Gausman being ahead 1-2. Loses a slider at the top of the zone. It's a very dangerous pitch. Can cause a lot of anxiety for Castillo, Buck Showalter, us here in the booth as well. And then he misses with the fastball. 1-2 strikes. Castillo wanted in.
1-2 delivery on the way. Sanchez down. That's a fair ball down to third. Time has gone. Davis for the out. Sanchez is retired. Leadoff man out here in the third. 2017 All-Star Game voting underway at Orioles.com/vote-orange. Vote 5 times for the chance to win an autographed All-Star jersey. Vote 20 times to receive a buy one get one offer for the Rangers series in July. So vote early, vote often, vote orange at Orioles.com/vote-orange.
Yeah, a few deserving Orioles. Of course, Adam Jones in the All-Star game quite a few times, having himself a solid year. Unfortunately, that leg kind of set him back a little bit. Jonathan Scope, monster year out there at second base. Bundy having a strong year.
E.D. Gregorius grounded out his first time up. 1-0 delivery on the way, and that's going to go to center field. Adam Jones coming. It'll be a base hit. Gregorius has got a 13-game hit streak. That single, and he comes with one away. Take a look at our PNC minor league report. PNC for the achiever in you.
Look at Chance Sisco, just 22 years old, second round pick back in 2014. He's been heating up with the bat last 10 games. 361, an extra base hit in there, a few RBIs, 5 runs scored. At 22 years old, playing at AAA Norfolk, 275, 12 doubles and 2 home runs on the year. The batting average starting to climb with that 10 games.
Here is Carter, base hit first time up. Chris Carter will take the slider down. Carter against the Orioles came in just a .217 average against the Orioles on the year. Not far removed from his overall .209 batting average. Runner off first base, the 1-0 delivery, and that will be outside. We're in the third of game 3 as the Orioles move on to Chicago. Ball game tomorrow night. Wade Miley against Mike Pelfrey. 7:30 O's extra. 8 o'clock for the ball game. Masson 2. 2-0 pitch on the way, and that will be outside. So Kevin goes 3-0 on Chris Carter. Would you give him a green light here?
Yeah, well, Chris Carter led the National League in home runs.
Yeah.
Think about a guy that had a hard time finding a job, you know. Amazing. About the versatility. Very dangerous hitter.
3-0 delivery to him, and he'll take a strike, well located. That one on the outside corner. 3-1 with a runner at first base. This is one of those shutdown innings we've talked about. The Orioles have had their problems getting those this year. After they score runs, holding the opponent down in the next half inning. 3-1 on Carter. And did he go? No. That is walk number 5.
Look, Chris Carter, he can strike out a lot, so he gets geared up 3-1, and that could have gone either way. Steele aggressively pointing down, trying to get the call from Joe West. Does not go in the Orioles' favor.
So runners on at first and second, and Torreyes. Torreyes hit into a fielder's choice his first time up. He's gone 5 for 23 with runners in scoring position. Orioles will look for another ground ball double play. Torreyes 5 for 16 off Gausman, and the pitch will miss for a ball. So Kevin Gausman again, 5 walks, reaching the season high, and that 5-walk total is the one that he previously had against the Yankees. One 1-0 delivery on the way, and that's going to miss, and that will bring Castillo out. Strike zone wandering away from Kevin here in the third inning.
Yeah, just feel for it in there. Inside corner, he's made some big pitches. Looking the two-seamer in, it works just in off the plate. Fortunately, though, a couple balls right there. There weren't mistakes on the plate. He was making mistakes, but making misses away from the danger zone.
Reyes waiting on a 2-0. Yankees left one in the first, two in the second. Orioles have stranded a couple. Base runners all over the place for both teams. First 3 innings of the ball game. 2-0 count. Reyes takes it, and that's a strike.
Oh, beautiful fastball right there. Perfect pitch. Notch that one up. Maybe a little two-seam action. Get to Reyes to that ground ball to third base. Look at this heater, 96 miles an hour. Not as good as it's going to get. Nice little group down there at the bottom of the zone.
2-1. Outfield's moved in a couple of steps. Reyes with a ground ball to short. What they needed. Hardy one. Relay by Scope. Got him at first base. Big double play. So that's the second consecutive inning. Has ended on a double play. The Yankees want to take a look here on the play at first base for the out. Orioles baseball is brought to you by the all-wheel drive RAV4 Toyota. What drives you? Visit buyatoyota.com for great deals. Hot summer afternoon on this Sunday in the city. Yankees have the 5-3 lead here in the Bronx at Yankee Stadium, and as we said, we're going to see a lot of Yankee pitchers.
Yeah, it's a bullpen game for sure, and Jonathan Holder now in to this one. 27th appearance. Made an appearance on Friday. A scoreless 9th inning for the Yankees. 3.24 earned run average. Opponent's hitting 250 overall. See, the righty's just 208. He loves the breaking ball. He's got a slider and curveball. Pretty good fastball as well. 90 to 95 with the heater, but loves to spin it. Only 3 home runs. Trouble with the first batter. It'll be a key here in this inning. 269, 7-26. Orioles need that first batter on.
So Gausman gets through that half inning after the Orioles score without surrendering a Yankee run. Through the first 3, Yankees 5-6-0. The Orioles 3-4-0. Gausman has walked 5. He has struck out none. On the other side of it, Green 2+ innings, 2 runs, 2 hits. Shreve worked an inning, charged with a run on 2 hits, 2 strikeouts, and now Jonathan Holder. Holder came on in the ball game last night, worked the inning, had a walk and a strikeout as he finished up the 9th inning without surrendering, or Friday night's game without surrendering a hit. Trey Mancini a walk his first time up. 1-1 delivery to him.
Oh, that's a good curveball right there. Oh, nice finish down at the bottom of the zone. Looks to mix in the slider curveball combination.
Jonathan Holder's delivery, and that's going to be up high. Holder just celebrating a birthday this Friday, 23 years old. Yankees last year, just 8 games. His first major league appearance was last season. Leans outside, did not go. Joe West the call down at first base.
That's the breaking ball that got him in this AB. Able to hold up on. Strength right there.
Holder, a 3-2. Mancini down the line. That'll hit into foul territory and make it into the seats. Carter giving chase.
You're my favorite player for sure.
Forever.
Absolutely. Hey, think you can get Aaron Judge to sign this?
Stake to the heart. 3-2 delivery again, and a little bit deeper this time. Down the line near the pole and just missed. That ball kept carrying and ended up just a few seats on the foul side of the foul fair pole in right field.
Wow. That's why Yankee Stadium's so dangerous. There it is, 314 down the right field line. Judge giving chase, and look at the ball just coming into the picture. Foot or two just outside of the foul pole.
So Mancini a bid for the long ball. 3-2 delivery coming again, and Holder comes in, and the Orioles get the leadoff man on. Second walk they have picked up in the ball game. Fans, remember, anytime the Orioles score 4 runs or more, you win free McDonald's Chicken McNuggets. Download McDonald's app today. Available at Baltimore area McDonald's. Well, let's see if the Orioles can take advantage of the always dangerous leadoff walk in an inning. Wellington Castillo flied out to left his first time up. Nobody out. Mancini off first, and the breaking ball is in there for a strike. Castillo with a 1 for 3. Lifetime off Holder, having not faced him prior to this season. The 0-1 delivery to him. Breaking ball again. That one's going to miss way inside. 1 ball, 1 strike.
With Holder's ability to throw those breaking balls, you know, Wayne Kirby got in Mancini's ear. Anticipate that ball in the dirt. Runner in scoring position.
Holder with a 1-1. And that's inside. A stop made by Sanchez to hold the runner. This is Holder's 8th game against the Orioles. He's given up a run on 5 hits and 7 in the 3rd. A couple of walks, 7 strikeouts. So the Orioles have seen a lot of him already this season. 2 ball, 1 strike count. Mancini off first base. Ball foul back and out of play.
Got away with one there. Slider staying in the middle of the plate.
The Orioles trying to get through that 3-run barrier that scooted up against them. They've had 3 runs or fewer 3 consecutive games, and 6 of the last 8 the Orioles have scored 3 or fewer runs. Seems like an ideal day to do more than that when you're going to see these pitchers out of the bullpen. 2-2 delivery, and that's a slow roller to short. Had to wait. There's one. Got to hurry and got it there in time. Good relay by Castro.
Just a little adjustment on the end of that ground ball from Gregorius. Kind of create a little angle, get a little bit deeper, and feed to Castro, and he cleans it up on the end. Different speed coming down the line. I'm going to beat that one out, but the catcher speed there.
So that eliminates the leadoff walk. 2 down. J.J. Hardy started that 3rd inning with a double. 2 down, nobody on. Straight up D against him, and J.J. will take the pitch for a strike. Hardy 0 for 3 off Jonathan Holder. Right-hander's 0-1 delivery, and that'll be put in the air down the line. Judge coming over. Way back out of play. They've had big crowds here. Sellout crowd on Friday night. Big crowd yesterday. Sun-drenched crowd here at Yankee Stadium again today. Won't be a sellout, but got a lot of folks on hand as the schools start to get out, so the kids can get to the ballpark. Breaking ball, leaned out after it. And a 1-ball, 2-strike count on Hardy. Yankees are going to be heading out to the West Coast. They've got a swing out west after this series concludes. That's going to be hit hard and a base hit. So Hardy on the button on that one. Hicks will play it in, and JJ's 2 for 2. A 2-out single here in the fourth.
A couple nice swings in this ball game from JJ. Hardy could flat that through the zone. This one just takes it right back through the box. A couple bullets off the bat of Hardy.
Yankees are going to have three against the Angels and 4 against Oakland during the road trip. So Tejada will try and keep the bat going. He had an RBI double, scored in the 3rd inning. Former Met, former Yankee, Ruben Tejada goes after it to the hole. It's going to be a tough play. Gregorius got to go to first and a hop, and he got him. What a beautiful play by Didi Gregorius on a runner who can get there. Tejada, a planned 1-hop throw to first base. Orioles lead 1-0. Since a 3 for 4 when Sandoval returned against the Orioles. Pablo Sandoval's 2 for 23 with 8 strikeouts. He did not start in the ball game yesterday. He was benched to see whether he plays tonight. Morales, Carrera, Smoke all homered for Toronto, a 4-2 win that came over Seattle last night. And you take a look at Evan Longoria, Cabrera, Braun, Bautista, the only players to hit 250 home runs with their current teams, and only Braun and Longoria have been able to do that. On the ground ball, Davis will play it, and Gardner is retired. So on the first swing of the bat, out recorded. There's Longoria, Miguel Cabrera, Ryan Braun, and Jose Bautista. The players did 250 with their current teams, and only Braun and Longoria did it with the team that they've always been with. So Evan got to a magic point last night. I thought his comment was great. He said, I figured if I stayed around long enough, I was bound to get 250.
Yeah. It's nice that he could do it with the same team. You know, you just don't see that as much anymore.
He's really been the face of that organization.
He's done it the right way, too.
One down, Aaron Hicks, Kevin Gausman settling in after a 5-run, 5-hit first inning. Castro had a 2 RBI single. Sanchez had the 3 RBI home run. Gosman's been able to work out of a couple of situations over the last 2 innings. 1-0 delivery will be taken up. Aaron Hicks with a walk, and he is flied out.
Kevin's using that defense behind him in the second and third. A couple big double plays. Avoid some potential big innings.
2-0 delivery, and Hicks will take it down and away.
Gosman talked with the home plate umpire where that last pitch was. There's a little help on that outside corner. Some good pitches there.
So a season high 6 walks for Gosman. Check out Masson All Access on Masson Orioles social media platforms. New social media show broadcast on Facebook Live. Features game previews, fan tweets, Q&As with players, and much more. Follow Masson Orioles on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat for all the fun of Masson All Access. 1 down, 1 on. Judge up. Judge got to walk his last time up. 3 in a row walked in the second inning, but a double play off the bat of Castro got Kevin Gosman out of a jam. Kevin has walked as many as 6 in his career twice now. 1 down, pitch on the way, slider away. Hicks back to the bag.
Nice pick there by Castillo, always coming up looking to throw. He's throwing behind runners.
Hicks trying to gain his attention over there at first base. 1-0 delivery on the way, and Judge will take the pitch for a strike at the knees. In Yankee history, Judge has joined Alex Rodriguez, the only Yankees to have 19 or more home runs in their first 60 games played. Judge and Abram. 1 ball, 1 strike count. And Judge big looping on an 86 out in front of it. 1 and 2.
Nice slider there from Kevin Gosman. Putting on that outside corner. Looks like it's going to stay true in the middle of the plate, but busting off hard at the end. That location down and away. Judge just a little bit of leak on the front side. Second strike.
1 and 2 on Judge. He's in the top 10 in strikeouts, but of course he's in the top 10 in everything else too. 1-2 delivery to him, and he'll get a base hit on that one. That'll go into the corner. Hicks has got good speed. He'll make a turn. Will they wave him? Joe Espada will hold him up at third. It will be a double for Judge. 2 for 2.
Just can't get away with many mistakes with Aaron Judge. His 11th double. Slider with 2 strikes. Castillo wanting it down and away. Boy, it just backs up and stays to the middle. Kevin Gosman pretty lucky just to get away with the double there. Judge pretty solid with 2 strikes.
Yankees get their 7th hit, and they put 2 more in scoring position with only 1 away. And another chance for Holiday. Holiday has walked twice. Walks numbers 1 and 4 against Gosman. Infield back. Holiday will take it for a strike. Barrett's back up, second time in the bullpen for the Orioles today. Yankees 2 for 4 with runners in scoring position today. Overall, they are 9th in the league at 245, but they've had so many chances. 0-1 count. And that slider's going to miss away.
You see some of the roster moves that the Orioles had to make today. Logan Barrett just recalled from AAA Norfolk. Yacabonis making his first major league appearance. His contract selected from AAA as well. Crichton and Jackson sent down. Norfolk for Crichton, designated for Jackson.
1 ball, 1 strike count. Matt Holliday, and he'll take it. Gosman going in those sliders away. Holliday not wanting to bite on it. John goes to 2-1.
What helps is if you're consistent with your location. Kevin Gausman has had some problems with the command here this season. A little bit better, it seems, in this ball game. Nice little group down and away, but you get those swing and misses on the sliders.
That's going to be a base hit into center field. Hicks will score. Judge will score. And Holliday continues to do big-time damage to the Orioles. Holliday now has 16 RBIs this year against the O's.
Man, big numbers. This time just picking up a lousy single. He's got 6 home runs as well. Prompt Buck Showalter. Their early exit, Oriole starter.
So again, the Orioles do not get what they wanted and needed, and the bullpen is going to have to do an extended job again. So Gausman comes out of there. He works just 3 1/3 innings, and the Yankees have a 7-3 lead.
Starter lasting just the 3 1/3 and his 6th straight start with 8 hits or more given up, and setting a season high with the 6 walks. Made some good pitches today, but unfortunately the Yankees offense just a little too much. Logan Verrett now into the ball game. This will be his 4th appearance for the Orioles. Picked up a couple wins. Had a win against the Yankees earlier in the season. 3.38 earned run average here as an Oriole, just recalled from AAA Norfolk.
Verrett, 15 games at Norfolk, a win, couple of saves, ERA of 5.87. And at AAA, the left-handers 279. The right-handers have hit only 200 against him at AAA this year. So the Yankees with 2 more in, still only 1 away, and Castro with a runner at first base. Castro, a 6-game hit streak with his 2 RBI single in the first. He is hit into a double play. Sanchez to follow. Holliday at first base. The off-speed delivery is going to be in there for a strike. The Yankees have already scored 10 runs or more in a game 10 times this year. That is more times than all of last season with 10 runs or more. We're only a third of the way through the year. 0-1 delivery on the way. Came inside and missed with it, and they are threatening to do that again today. 7 runs on the board, and we're in the 4th inning.
Yeah, almost. They're starting to near that 6 runs per game average on the year. 5.75 coming into today. 7 runs on the board.
1 ball, 1 strike count. Holliday, the runner at first base, with his 2 RBI base hit. Down to third. Tejada, big hop. Long throw will get there in time to retire Castro. Holliday will get down to second base, but there are 2 down.
Good play right there by Tejada. It's a quick release, throw on the money. Tough play play. The high chopper can't get that force at second base. Has to make the long throw, but enough there to do it. Impressive arm.
So 2 down, and that'll bring up Sanchez. Sanchez extending his hit streak to 5 with a home run in the first inning, a 3-run shot. Runner at second, 2 away. Orioles will concentrate on Sanchez, the batter. Holiday will get a big lead at second. Sanchez takes the off-speed delivery on the outside corner for a strike.
Nice little slider right there from Morgan Barrett. Personal slider, 2-seam fastball, kind of crisscross the outside and the inside corner with those pitches. At his best when he works down below the knees. Likes to start that slider on the plate and work it off the edge.
Here's the 0-1 delivery on the way. In the air, left center. Adam Jones coming over, saying, "I got it," and he does. But 2 more are added on the Holiday single, and the Yankees extend their lead. They're up 7-3. Paul Sullivan, Chicago Tribune. Orioles headed to play the White Sox. He said no matter how their manager Rick Renteria spins it, the Sox have already fallen, but perhaps not far enough yet to be truly awful. Not that it matters, because they're hoping to deal Jose Quintana, Todd Frazier, David Robertson, and a few others in another 6 or 7 weeks, which would raise the white flag even if they were in contention. As the White Sox going back to rebuilding.
Yeah. 26 and 34, last in the American League Central. The Orioles hoping to play them tough like they did earlier in the season. 3-0 against that team.
4-game set coming up starting tomorrow night. Yankees on top. Holder will work, and the leadoff batter Seth Smith. A double and an RBI in the third, 1 for 2. He struck out his first time up.
Interesting shift right there.
Off-speed breaking ball in there for a strike. Now they'll change it again. There goes Torreyes over to the third base, over to the second base side. Didi Gregorius comes back to his shortstop position. It's very complicated.
Yeah.
0-2 delivery. He hit it where they ain't. Let him move all around. And a base hit. So the Orioles again will get the leadoff man on here in the 5th inning. 2 for 3 in the ball game for Seth Smith.
Nice little piece of hitting right there. That's the curveball. Waits on it, serves it up over the infielder's head. Nice little piece of hit. Take a look at the approach. It's a front foot down, recognizes the breaking ball, hands in a good position. That's where the bat head is. Nice piece there by Smith.
Orioles have their 6th hit of the ball game. And here's Jonathan Scope. Jonathan, a double and an RBI. He has struck out. He will take the pitch. It'll catch the inside corner for a strike. Jonathan continuing 300 batting average against right-handers that he's had most of the year. He has been up among the leaders in the American League against right-handed pitchers. 0-1 delivery. There's a good breaking ball away.
Nice slider. It can be real tight. Throws it hard, that outside corner. Pretty good pitch. Slows the hitters down with the slow breaking ball.
0-2. Jonathan had to go after one upstairs.
Jonathan Scope having a solid season, vying for his first All-Star game appearance. All you got to do is write in his name offensively. Boy, one of the best second basemen in the game. He's got the strongest arm, the stronger arms you're ever going to see on an infield. Manny Machado turning some highlight film double plays this year.
Pitch will be taken away. 1 ball, 2 strike count. Will Manny Machado be available for the ball game tomorrow night in Chicago? Nobody knows that. He did try and take some swings today with the bat. We didn't get an update on that. All we know is that he was doing it. Fouled off. That's the real problem, since it is the left wrist. He could play defense, but can he grip a bat tight enough to swing?
Yeah, he's got a little device on there, probably trying to help get some of the swelling out. You know, when your hands or your feet get hit, a lot of small bones in there. When the fluid gets in between, that's what causes all that pain. So Manny just trying to get the swelling out of his hand. I'm sure it'll feel much better.
Ball's going to be popped up in the air, third base side. Reyes over to get it. First out. Join the Oriole Advocates celebrating 25 years at Oriole Park 25th anniversary luncheon. It's on Friday, August 18, noon to 2 in the warehouse. The luncheon will celebrate the ballpark that forever changed baseball and honor returning members of the 1992 team. Tickets are $100. For details, 410-247-2703. Adam Warren is up in the bullpen. I was going to ask you about the doctors, the MD degree that you had, because the explanation was seriously medical on the yeah, it was. But perhaps you just stayed at the inn last night.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Oh my goodness. No, I don't know exactly what that is on there, but it's got to be something to get the swelling out or relieve the pain.
Better than a hammer with your hand down on a piece of cement.
Right. Right.
So a brief discussion. Larry Rothschild. Pitch is taken for a strike. Adam Jones has flied out and grounded out. Smith on at first base with 1 out. That ball off the end of the bat to center, right at Hicks. 2 down.
And a little frustrated there, reaching out on that slider. Oh, maybe that front foot really starting to show up now.
Two down, and that's going to be it for Holder. So apparently Rothschild went out and said, you got one more guy.
Yeah. Better get him.
Get him. He did. And he'll come out of the game, and it'll be the 3rd reliever coming on for the Yankees. Runner at first base, 2 down here in the 5th inning. Yankees up by 4. One of our Sunday columns comes from Tom Jones, Tampa Bay Times. They played a scheduled doubleheader in Tampa Bay yesterday. Rays hosted a doubleheader at the Trop, a real doubleheader. It was awesome. Just be sure the players don't hear you say that. Plenty of Rays spent the past couple of weeks belly aching about the doubleheader instead of embracing it. Jones went on to say they complain about wear and tear on their poor bodies. They worry about being at the ballpark all day. They worry about running out of sunflower seeds. They essentially worry about working too hard, as if pulling a double shift at the ballpark is like putting down a roof on a 92-degree day. Instead, they were under a roof in a building where it was a perfect 72 degrees all day.
Tom Jones, a little upset. Some of the
he
players.
Loved it. He loved the doubleheader.
I bet. Not more now in the ball game. He's got all 4 pitches: fastball, slider, curve, and change. Pretty good numbers on the year for Warren.
Trumbo up. And that was up. Runner on at first base, 2 down. Marcus struck out twice. Trumbo's got a 1-for-3 off Warren. Tampa Bay trying to draw some attendance down there. They said that's why they scheduled the doubleheader. Their attendance has not been good, and they thought try and do anything to make it a little bit out of the ordinary, and the doubleheader would be that. Apparently they had a pretty good crowd for the game at the Trop. The 2 games, 1 admission. They're going to try it again, I guess, next year.
Yeah, I guess that would be the best way to do it. Get the 1 admission, for both games.
1 ball, 1 strike delivery on the way. I mean, not so long ago, doubleheaders were scheduled regularly. You had 4 or 5 at least a year.
Well, there have been a lot of different formulas for new structure, alignment in Major League Baseball, and some of them actually show scheduled doubleheaders just to keep the balance the same, and maybe schedule potential off days for the players, which would be nice.
1 ball, 2 strike count. Runner at first base. One of the problems, of course, is what we go through all the time. The game's now averaging 3 hours and 10 minutes. Averaging. Now, back when doubleheaders were regular, it was 2:20, 2:30. It's a lot. That's a big difference.
Yeah.
Instead of playing for 6.5 hours of baseball, it used to be you played for 5 or under. And that's one of the problems trying to schedule doubleheaders, along with trying to get enough pitchers on hand for the day. 2-2 delivery on the way, and that'll be outside. So Warren trying to find the final out here. Smith the leadoff single, but he's still over there at first base. And Mark Trumbo trying to find one to tag here.
Buck Showalter talks all the time about just expanding the rosters for those type of situations.
Runner goes, and he got him. So that's 3 strikeouts by Trumbo in the ball game. Orioles unable to push one across here on this Sunday in New York. Gibson, the plain dealer in Cleveland. Dennis Manteloff, the Indians are extremely fortunate that they reside in the AL Central, where no team is close to dominant. 30-29 has them in second place, 2.5 back of the surprising Twins. Tigers, Royals, White Sox were below 500. Indians feature the best top to bottom talent in the division, so it should be only a matter of time before they pull away. They are playing the White Sox, lead 3-2 today in Chicago in the 6th inning. The Indians.
The Indians certainly on paper have the most talented team. But they have got to, somebody's got to want it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you sit here and you kind of keep your head above water, but what happens if there's an injury, you know, and next thing you know, you're in the panic mode and you can't recover.
There have been a couple of the divisions where nobody's taken charge. I mean, the National League Central's the same thing. Those teams are separated 5.5 games. The Cubs heavily favored. They've lost 4 in a row. They trail Milwaukee by 2. The Reds, Cardinals, Pirates are all in it, and none of them have played particularly good baseball. You've only got one team in the National League East that's playing above 500, and that's Washington. That's why they've got a 10.5 game lead. They're in the right place, right time.
Yeah.
1 ball, 1 strike count. Bottom half of the 5th inning. Didi Gregorius, career high 13 game hit streak. He extended it with a single in his last at bat. He is 1 for 2 in the ball game. During the hit streak, hitting over 347 now. That is the second longest active hit streak. Elvis Andrus of Texas has got a 14 game streak coming into today. 1-2 delivery on the way, and he got that one to right field. That's going to go into the corner and take a hop right off the bottom of the wall. Seth Smith's throw not in time. Gregorius hangs in the bag, and he's 2 for 3.
Well, we talked about it on Friday. Gregorius and his hitting streak, picking up his 9th double, but the bat control. He starts his ABs off choked up, and with 2 strikes, maybe even slides it up a little bit more. Pretty good heater inside. Look how short he is to the baseball. Quick swing, just missing a stadium home run. Nice play by Seth Smith. There's the swing, and you see the hands choked up. Good 2 inches off the knob.
9 hits for the Yankees. Again on the phone to the bullpen, the skipper. Carter's had a base hit, and he is walked. Chris Carter batting 8th. Torreyes on deck. And the pitch will be taken away for a ball. So again, the Yankees threatening to get on the board. They got 5 in the first, 2 more in the 4th. They have had runners on every inning. And the pitch is going to be outside. Yankees now 3 for 6 with runners in scoring position today, and this is their 7th chance.
Not a lot of let up in this Yankee lineup. Chris Carter hitting 8th.
2-0 delivery on the way to him. He will take it. It will be a strike. The Orioles bullpen, of course, with all the short starts and the loss of the closer and Zach Britton, the bullpen numbers have shot up. Orioles are now 8th in ERA as a pen at 4.05, and they've given up the 3rd most hits per 9 innings of any bullpen in the league. Pitch is taken down low. So the count goes to 3-1. Yankees trying to win their 5th in a row. Orioles have lost 3 in a row. Orioles during the losing streak, counting today, have been outscored 37-9 in the losing streak and walked him. So the first 2 on here in the 5th will set up a potential double play ground ball.
That doesn't help things at all. Base on balls certainly drive a manager crazy.
That's 7 walks issued by the Orioles in the ball game. They've really been fortunate in that only one of those walks has scored so far. Nobody out. Torreyes is hit into a fielder's choice, grounded into a double play. In at third base, Tejada. In at first, Davis looking for a bunt, but nobody out. He does square. He meant it. Got a throw, got a chance, and got him! Came off the bag. Hardy able to prolong the tag long enough to get the pick off of Didi Gregorius at second base on the throw down by Castillo. Down to the ground went Torreyes as the pitch rode in on him, and I think Didi Gregorius kind of lost sight of where it was, and Castillo took advantage of it.
A beautiful play by Castillo. What a recovery, always looking up. First swipe, I think Hardy misses him, but he stays on the tag, and Gregorius, his momentum pulls him off the base, tries to get it with the foot. You see Hardy blocking there. Impressive job staying with it. Take a look at the left hand. Did it come off? Yeah, he's reaching for it there. Nice job by Hardy. Great throw by Castillo. Big out.
That's the first out of the inning recorded at second base. 0-1 count. Leaves Carter on at first base, and the pitch will be taken inside. Torreyes had no chance to bunt that ball. That almost hit him.
Yeah, I thought it was a foul ball. He was jumping out of the way. Thought he might have got a piece there, but obviously not.
1 ball, 1 strike count. Career high 14 RBIs for him so far this year. Another pitch inside, and he will get ahead on the count. Two and one. Torreyes getting some playing time at third base. Chase Headley has handled most of the hot corner for the Yankees. Pitch on the way. He'll take it. So the count goes to 3-1 with 1 down. The outfield against Torreyes each time moves in, especially right and center. A couple of steps by Jones and Smith. Here's the 3-1 delivery on the way, and he punches it to short. Hardy's got it. Scope's got one. Plenty of time, and didn't get him. Wasn't as much time as he thought. Torreyes hustling down the line. What should have been an inning-ending double play isn't.
Oh, my goodness. Torreyes flying down the baseline. You see Chris Davis kind of staying straight up. Jonathan Scope kind of making it a little bit too routine. That is a bullet to shortstop. That has got to be a double play. That's where the 7 walks kind of show up. Maybe not on paper as far as runs scored, but maybe the our defense a little on the heels. You see the kind of casual double play turn there. Jonathan Scope at second. Chris Davis reached out there himself.
Like Showalter had his video people take a look at it. No challenge. He's on the bag. Inning should be over, so it extends it. And the leadoff batter, Gardner, a base hit. He is 1 for 3, 5-game hit streak for Brett Gardner. Pitch taken inside. Castillo scoops, gets the runner back to the bag at first.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate play. It just does not look good for the Orioles. I mean, a team that's so well disciplined, I think, with the detail of games here in the last week or so. It hasn't looked as crisp for sure. A lot of balls dropping in the outfield. Jonathan Scopes had some drops himself at second base. Hasn't showed up for errors, but plays like that, they make a difference.
We'll see how much of a difference it makes here. A 2-0 count with 2 down. One thing about baseball that's always true: this game was never meant to be played nonchalantly.
You got that right.
Not ever. Because things happen in this game continually. It just astounds you when you do that. 2-0 count. Gardner. And a swing and a miss. That one tailing down and away. 2-ball, 1-strike count to him.
Good action on that pitch. Two-seamer. Take a look at this pitch. Ooh, hard change it looked like. 88 miles an hour. Looked like a Brad Brock changeup.
Torreyes not wandering too far from that bag at first with 2 down. 2-1 delivery on the way. That's inside again. Nice stop made. Wellington Castillo going in to prevent that ball from going by.
Been working hard today, setting up, down and away, yanked across. Was taking the shoelaces off of Gardner to make this play. Ooh. Once again, though, looking up at second or at first base, throw behind the runner.
See whether or not they send Torreyes here in a 3-ball, 1-strike count. There are 2 down. Three-1 runner not going. Gardner will fight that off. Good pitch. Came right on the fist. So yet another full count in this ball game. 3-2 with 2 away. Orioles will change up the D, moving Hardy to the second base side. So here's one of those situations we were talking about. It's kind of the opposite of what you expect. On a full count, they play him to pull in the infield. Runner will be going. 3-2 delivery. Gardner will go down swinging. So the strikeout recorded. No damage done by the failure to get the double play, except for some extra pitches being thrown. It remains 7-3 Yankees. By T-Mobile. Games of interest to the Orioles. A's raised 4-4 7th. Oakland 2 for 4, 3 for 6 Tampa Bay when they get a chance. Rasmus 1 for 3, a solo home run in that one. Blue Jays, how about Happ still looking for his first win of the year? They play at Seattle, and Paxton's won 7 in a row going back to 16. Tigers and Red Sox, they got the night game tonight. Boston looking to sweep the Tigers. Pomerantz career best 3 straight wins last 3 starts. Games going on or will be going on.
Take a look. Bobby Dickerson talking to Jonathan Scope, and Bobby Dickerson really passionate about infield play, and he expects his infielders to pay attention to that detail of the game we were talking about. Not Jonathan Scope know that should never happen. And probably will never happen again under Bobby Dickerson's watch.
So the Orioles bat here in the 6th inning. And that's going to be into the shift and a base hit. Chris Davis will make the turn. Judge is up with it and a single. So Chris on with a base hit to lead off the 6th inning. Well, the Orioles have been able to get the leadoff man on. They did it in the 3rd inning. That's when they got 3 runs on 4 hits. Leadoff walk in the 4th inning and a leadoff single in the 5th. They did not score in either of those. And here again, leadoff man on. Trey Mancini's had 2 walks in the ball game. He'll take the pitch outside for a ball. Orioles get hit number 7.
The Orioles mounted a little comeback earlier in this ball game. 3-5, and there's still an opportunity. Bloop and a blast. Still got a lot of power in this Oriole lineup to get them right back in the ball game.
Yankees jumped out with a 5-run first inning. 2 RBI single Castro, 3-run homer Sanchez. 2 RBI single Holiday came in the 4th inning. The Orioles RBIs from Smith, Scope, and Tejada, all in the 3rd when the Orioles had 4 consecutive doubles. That one of those high strikes, tough to get at. Had a little drop on it at the end.
A little high slider right there. Looking like a beach ball floating in, but just enough movement on the end with the slider to get it off the barrel.
Adam Warren, the 3rd out of the bullpen after Chad Green made the emergency start. Green lasted only 2+, 2 runs, 2 hits. Shreve worked an inning, a run on 2 hits. Holder an inning and 2/3, no runs, 2 hits, and now Warren. And there will be more.
And unfortunately, I think it's going to get stronger as the back end of the Yankees bullpen starts to approach.
Souvenir for the Sunday day fan here. And the count, 2 balls and 2 strikes on Trey Mancini. Mancini, 241 coming into the ball game for the month. He has had a couple of home runs here in June as the book begins to circulate among opponents on how to pitch him. 2-2 delivery, hit hard. What a stop! Torreyes gets one. What a play. Torreyes robs him of an extra base hit and may have saved a run on that play.
My goodness, that was a beauty right there. Headley, full-time 3rd baseman here. Day game. Torreyes getting the start. Wow, get more playing time making plays like that. A beauty. As he takes extra bases away from Mancini and gets that lead out at second base.
Orioles asking again. They're looking at the video on this. See regarding the play at second base. Home plate umpire, I think that's what they're doing. El Porter, the home plate umpire, is coming over, and maybe a problem up above the Oriole dugout. That's the problem. They're bringing the security folks over. So that was the concern.
Guilty party right there.
Apparently. Here's Wellington Castillo. Pitch taken away. Castillo's hit into a double play and he is flied out. One 0 count, 1 down, 1 on. Mancini changes places with Davis at first on the fielder's choice. 1-0 pitch. Warren delivers outside with it.
Boy, does he like his slider or what? Rare fastball.
Warren's 4th game against the Orioles. No runs, 1 hit, 4 1/3 innings this year against the O's. 2-0 pitch on the way. Tags this one. It is deep down the line, but it is foul.
Ooh, that would have been nice. Castillo sitting on that backside. This is the danger of throwing too many breaking balls. Hitters start to get familiar with how it's breaking. This one just stays on that inner third. He hammers it. Stay on the backside here. The cement mixer poses up too, wishing it fair.
Castillo's had 1 home run here at Yankee Stadium. 2-1 delivery on the way, and a little chopper. Played to first base. Warren got it on the end of the glove. Runner down to second base. Mancini, 2 outs. MLB.com at bat, your #1 mobile app for live Orioles baseball. Stay connected with a full customized experience. Get Orioles home screen icons and app features, as well as game day, live game video highlights, radio, StatCast, news, and more. Download it. MLB.com at bat. Runner at second. 2 down. J.J. Hardy, 2-hit day. He has had a double and a single. Orioles trying to pick up a 2-out RBI. J.J.'s 11th multi-hit game. He has had 1 3-hit ball game.
J.J.'s had some beautiful swings here in this game. Very solid line drives. Jumped on a slider early in the ball game for a double. A heater right back through the middle. Big flat bat, keeping the bat head through the strike zone. Just an extra long time.
J.J. 240 with runners in scoring position. Big lead at second for Mancini. 1-1 delivery. Hardy will take it for a strike. Orioles, their numbers now with 2 outs and runners in scoring position is even better than their overall average. They're hitting .299 with runners in scoring position, and when there are 2 down, the number's at .305. It's 100 points higher than the Yankees. 1-2 delivery on the way, and that's going to be taken down low.
But there again, you know the problem we always talk about.
How many?
Right? How many opportunities have the Orioles had? And unfortunately, it's one of the lower totals in the American League. And the Yankees, the Orioles out hitting them with runners in scoring position by about 50 points. The Yankees have scored about 20 more or 30 more runs. Maybe even more than that.
Orioles came in with 408 at bats in these situations, and the Yankees with 535. As you might expect, the Astros, with all the offense they've put up, they've had the most at bats in the league with runners in scoring position. 553. Didi Gregorius up with that one, the play to first. No runs on 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on base. We'll go to the bottom of the 6th, 7-3 New York. Well, the Yankees are trying for a sweep of this 3-game set. And as we said, there have been 11 series played since either of these teams had a sweep against the other. You go back, it's the second longest streak in a series for the Orioles. 11 in a row was the previous record of series without a sweep between the Orioles and Yankees. Yankees bat, and it'll be taken up high for a ball. Aaron Hicks.
And it's not going to be easy, though, for the Orioles to avoid that sweep. The Yankees offense just clicking on all cylinders. Big numbers.
7-9-0 today for the Yankees. 3-7-0 for the Orioles. Tries to drop in the off-speed delivery. Hicks, Judge, and Holiday due up. Yankees homestand at 4-1, which will conclude today. They'd like to take the sweep to the West Coast. 2-0. Ernst's delivery and a swing and a miss. Turned that one over. Yankees have had offense in every inning. They have left at least one runner on in every inning. 6 left on total.
That West Coast trip not as daunting as it seems like it used to be in the past.
2-1 delivery.
Houston kind of running away with the West. Everybody else sub 500.
Angels struggling.
Yeah, all of Seattle's playing a AAA team. They've had so many injuries.
Yeah. 3-1 shift on against Aaron Hicks. 3-1 delivery on the way to him, and he wallops it to right field. Playable low, and a nice play made by Smith. That ball was hit hard. Take a look at our notebook on this date. It's about no-hitters on June 11, 1938. What would be back-to-back no-hitters, the first of them, Johnny Vandermeer, as he beat the Reds by a score of 3-0. And in 1990, 43-year-old Nolan Ryan no-hit the A's 5-0, became the oldest player to throw a no-hitter, extending the major league record to 6 no-hitters for his career.
Pretty amazing, right?
Yep.
Oh my gosh, 43 years old. I was lucky. I got to face him when he was 44 and 45.
Did he still throw at you? Get a hit?
He actually did hit me with a breaking ball, but my gosh, it was a lot of fun facing Nolan Ryan. He was still pretty intimidating at that age.
And very competitive.
Oh yeah.
Here's Aaron Judge. Another big day. 3 up, 3 on, double, single, walk. He has scored twice. Judge has had a monster beginning against everybody, including the Orioles. In this series now, he's picked up 5 hits in 10 at-bats with a home run and 3 RBIs. 1-1 delivery to him, and there's another one. Everybody up, way back in left field, and goodbye home run to the back of the bleachers. Oh, mercy.
That was pretty impressive. I mean, you hate to see it done against your team, but that was a big ball right there. Mistakes get hit hard, that's for sure. Barrett has been so good at keeping the ball down. He gets one elevated, and Judge does not miss. Pitch up middle, little slider. It does not get to Castillo's glove. He wants it down and away. And I have never seen a ball get up in that area. 495 feet away.
119 off the bat for velocity. Oh my Lord. So that's number 20 for the major league leader. 3 for 3 day. He's a triple shy of the cycle. 8-3 ball game. 8 runs on 10 hits now for the Yankees. Holiday a 2 RBI single, couple of walks. He's scored twice or once. Pitch taken down low. So I believe with that now, Judge is going to pass A-Rod with the number of home runs. The 20 home runs in the first 60 games will be a new mark for the Yankees.
Wow. He's locked in.
He is.
He covers it too. He's hitting them everywhere.
1 ball, 1 strike delivery on the way. That's hit hard to second. Scope lost control of it, and throws it away, but it hits off the fencing. So there will not be an extra base picked up here by Holiday.
Weird right there. Jonathan had a pretty good read. Even catching this one in the air, looked like he had it, but never stuck in the glove. We'll take a look here. Off the end of the bat, working away, and Jonathan takes that step in. It's in the glove. All of a sudden, it just rolls out. Over boogies on that one. Wow. Let's go. Tough day right now.
Yeah, long Sunday.
Yes, it is.
Error charged to Jonathan will be the first error of the ball game, allowing Holiday to reach with one away. Orioles have given the Yankees at least 3 extra outs in this game today. Starlin Castro, 2 RBI single in the first inning, Sense, double play, and another ground ball out. One away, and the pitch taken away. So the Yankees double digits in hits with 10, and another ball game in which they have put 8 up on the board, and we're in the 6th. 1-0 pitch on the way. Towering fly ball to left field. Mancini's going back and looking, and goodbye home run. Castro delivers the 2 RBI homer.
This is a confident offense, to say the least. Just up there looking to do damage right now.
Castro gets number 12. He's got 3 home runs in these 3 games.
He's just stepping in the bucket, cheating in. Got his pitch and did not miss it.
So the Yankees have now hit 11 home runs in this series against the Orioles. Cabanas up in the bullpen, just recalled today. Gary Sanchez coming up. Ten runs on 11 hits. So the Yankees extend their record, extend their mark now. The 11th time they've had 10 or more runs in a ball game. And as you mentioned earlier, already that's more than they had all of last year. So the 1 down, bases are empty, and Sanchez. If it were just 1 game, or even a couple over a 2 or 3 week period, you'd go, that's baseball.
Right.
But this is becoming the norm for the Orioles. I mean, there's just no pitching.
Yeah, it's been tough.
Foul back.
And I think you're kind of seeing the effects. How everything's a little bit cumulative here. You know, the pitches, the 7 walks today. Obviously, the Orioles starting this game from behind again, and you're seeing some miscues defensively. The extra opportunities that you don't typically see with this Orioles team. You know, the balls dropping in the outfield, not calling fly balls. Jonathan Schoop not turning a double play. Are you kidding me? One of the best in the game. He's got the strongest arm. The reason people watch him play defense, for him to cut it loose across the field on these double play balls. Very lackadaisical out there, and it might be just the effect of the 7 walks, being behind. And like you said, this has been going on way too long for this team. Too many short outings by the starting pitchers, and they're just starting to press. It is a beat down team. Somehow, some way, they've got to dig a little deeper and turn it around.
Here in this one, strikeout number 2, and that'll bring up Didi Gregorius, double single. 2 for 3 in the ball game. Gregorius fouls it off. Logan Verrett getting called up, down, up, down. These, I mean, this train to Norfolk doesn't get any easy either, because you come up, you play 1 game, you're sent back down again. You don't ever feel like you get an opportunity to establish yourself to do something.
Yeah, anywhere.
anywhere.
Yeah, either in Norfolk or here.
And Buck had the entire list today of the minor league pitchers in front of him on the desk. I mean, the ERAs are skyrocketing.
Yeah.
There isn't one pitcher you look at and go, you know, there's somebody who hasn't been here who maybe can help us out. Yacobonis may be that one. Play made by Jonathan Scope on that one, and that will retire the side. But the Yankees will pick up 3 2-homers. Judge getting the solo shot, Castro the 2 RBI. By Ocean City. Put your vacation days to good use in Ocean City. Book now at OCOcean.com. By Nissan. Choose Nissan today for great offers on their most exciting lineup ever. Shop ChooseNissan.com. And by American Standard Heating and Air. Go to MidAtlanticComfort.com for special offers and to find a dealer near you. Yankee Stadium in the Bronx, where the Yankees have a 10-3 lead. Great to have WJZ with us today. Welcome all of you who are watching on WJZ. So far, not exactly a pleasant watch if you're an Oriole fan. 10-3 ball game as we go to the 7th inning. 10-11-0 for the Yankees. 3-7-1 for the Orioles. Warren will stay out to work. He came on, got the final out of the 5th. No runs a hit in the 6th. And the pitch will be taken away for a ball by Tejada. Ruben Tejada, a double, a run scored. He has also grounded out. Warren has not walked anybody and has 1 strikeout, and the strike will be on the outside corner. The games played here at Yankee Stadium this year for the Orioles coming in 1-4. The ERA of the Orioles staff is 10.8 here at Yankee Stadium, and that's already gone up. Fouled away. The Yankees coming in. Well, let's add the 10. The Yankees have scored 62 runs against the Orioles in 6 games here at Yankee Stadium. Are hitting over 350. Gosh.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing, and yeah, big time numbers against this Oriole team. Had 1 game where they or 2 games they were under 10 runs, 4 spot and 8 spot. Everything else just 14, 12, 16, today 10.
Scary lineup for opposing teams. There's no question about it, and you can't imagine they can be much hotter than what they've been this weekend against the Orioles.
Man, I wouldn't think so.
And the pitch, Tejada will take that one away, and the count goes to 3-2. So Tejada trying to get on with Smith and Scope due up here in the 7th inning.
Crazy though, they always have problems here at Yankee Stadium, but play them so well in Camden Yards.
Yeah, we'd mentioned that I think on Friday when we opened up The home team in this series over the last 3 years, even longer than that, has had an enormous advantage. Each team has taken the series playing in their home ballpark, even though there haven't been any sweeps in the last series over the last 3 years. 3-2 delivery on the way. Tejada hangs tough, fouls it off. Call up by the Yankees today. Domingo Germán is in the bullpen. He just arrived for the Yankees. Tommy Lane, the left-hander, not there anymore. And Yacobonis is ready for the Orioles.
Some nerves out there in those bullpens right
yes,
now.
There are. 3-2 delivery down to third. Big hop played to Reyes. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the Orioles may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Orioles. And that's going to be it for Adam Warren. Good job out of the bullpen in the middle part of the ball game by Warren. Oh, we'll get a couple of debuts going on here today. One down, seventh inning, nobody on. Yankees up 10-3.
Numbers in AA and AAA this year. He's had 9 starts, a 3.34 earned run average, 59 and third innings worked, 65 punch-ups, 17 walks. Germán, big arm, good live fastball. Signed at a real young age by the Yankees, making his major league debut.
So a start for the 24-year-old. Yankee press guide says his name is Germán. The Yankee handout today says his name is Herman. So here he is.
I call him Domingo.
We all call him Domingo. And as his first major league pitch. A great day for him as he makes it to the major league level out of the Dominican Republic, the home of shortstop San Pedro de Macorís in the Dominican. Another pitcher underwent Tommy John surgery 2015, missed the whole year, and then began the season last year recovering from Tommy John. And now hopefully that is behind him and he's ready to go, and still young at 24. 1 ball, 1 strike count on Seth Smith. And a ground ball into the shift. Castro's got it. Throw that baseball into the dugout. Come on, get it over the net. Come on, there you go. That's it. Castro looked over to Carter. Carter said, "Give me the ball, give me the ball."
Yeah, pretty good heater right there. 98 miles an hour. See that loose arm just slinging it up there. So gets good action, a two-seam action. There's that changeup off it as well.
So 2 down, nobody on. Jonathan Scope, he has doubled, popped out, and struck out. The 4th reliever used by the Yankees today. And the pitch will be in there for a strike. Two down, nobody on. Wild swing and a pitch away.
Get geared up for that big fastball. He's been flipping it in there 98 miles an hour. He drops the nasty slider. Looked like it was going to be a strike all the way till the very end. He broke hard down and away.
Fans applauding for him for a strikeout, and didn't get one. Made a major league move to the dugout, though.
Hard slider. Take a look at Jonathan Scope. Check swing. Yeah, he held up. Nice call down there by Joe West.
1 ball, 2 strike count. He averaged almost a strikeout per inning in the minors. 324 strikeouts in 343 innings. Made his debut back in 2010. Another one of the young players out of the Dominican to break into pro ball early. 2-2 pitch on the way, and that'll be outside.
Worked up right here. Adrenaline flowing for sure.
We should get debuts back-to-back half innings.
It's exciting.
Herman makes his here. Yakubonis will be coming out for the Orioles, it looks like. 3-2, and that's a strikeout, so he got it. So he'll get the K. The Orioles are retired 1-2-3, 7th inning stretch time on a Sunday, and another debut to come.
Game 3, Sanchez capping off a 5-run first inning with a bomb. 112 off the bat, 450 feet, but the Orioles able to strike back. 4 straight doubles in the 3rd inning. They put a 3-spot up. Smith hammering one down the line. 114 off the bat. Jonathan Scope coming off hot as well. Then in the 4th, Holiday. This could have been the backbreaker here. A 2-run single in the 4th inning, and the Yankees take a commanding lead 10-3 in the bottom of the 7th. Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com to see how much you could save. You see Jimmy Yacobonis, major league debut, just called up from AAA Norfolk. 23 games down in AAA with a .90 earned run average. Pretty impressive arm here. 18 Ks, 16 walks though. Command issue there, but a big arm. A good power two-seamer, throwing the mid-90s. Change up and slider go along with it. Developing slider, I might say, but a big fastball. Yacobonis going to make a difference.
So Yacobonis gets an opportunity in the bottom half of the 7th inning. Last year, Frederick and Bowie. It's his 5th pro year. He was born in Elizabeth, New Jersey. Lives in Matawan now. So a lot of family on hand here from New Jersey, hoping he was going to get a chance today, and their hope will be fulfilled. He was selected by the Orioles 13th round in the 2013 first player draft.
And I would be remiss if I didn't say that he went to the same grammar school as Jim Hunter.
There you go. Explains the educational situation.
Absolutely.
So Yacobonis ready to go, and his major league debut will come against Chris Carter, and the pitch is there for a strike. Over the last 10 for Yacobonis at AAA, 1-0 with a 2.03 ERA and 2 saves. Those are the numbers that'll get you up here. 25 years old. Carter will take the pitch up high. A base hit, a couple of walks. So they've scored 8+ in each of the last 5. First time since 1956 the team has done that. Their PNC inside the numbers. 2-0 delivery. Pitch will be taken inside for a ball. They have had the 8 or more 21 times, the 10 or more 11 times. And they are just pumping on all cylinders offensively. 2-1 delivery on the way to Chris Carter. Ground ball to third, foul.
Well, you see the big fastball, obviously, from Yacobonis. Backup slider right there, but a little deception. It's a pretty aggressive windup and delivery. It's aggressive to say the least. I mean, he's putting everything into it.
Always out of the bullpen. 172 minor league games with no starts. 2-2 delivery on the way, and it'll come inside.
Let's take a look. Yacobonis kind of smooth to start, and it gets violent when he starts heading home. Funky little leg kick right there. He's coming at you. You see Castillo back. Settle down a little bit. Wait, stay on that backside.
3-2 delivery on the way. Carter will foul it away. For Yacobonis in the minors, his career 10 wins, 13 losses. He was 38 out of 48 in saves. Worked 240 innings. This is career now in the minor leagues. 233 strikeouts, 233 in 240 innings. That is, Mike said, a lot of walks, 126 career walks. And he'll start out his major league career with a strikeout.
Nice heater right there, 98 miles an hour. That good two-seam action. Look at the confident walk around the mound. Look at the location here, 98. Movement at the knees.
Castillo says, here, take a new baseball, throw that other one out of here. And Buck Showalter's going to come out and pick it up to make sure it gets saved for his reliever. Torres coming up 0 for 3. All on the ground, double play and a couple of fielder's choices. Pitch on the outside corner for a strike by Yacobonis.
This might be a new theme here for the Orioles as they in search of some fresh arms. We talked about the numbers in the minor leagues. There might be some new names popping up and get opportunities, and maybe some of the younger arms who are pitching in Double A.
It certainly is an open door for Oriole pitchers up and down the organization right now. 1 ball, 1 strike delivery on the way. Nakamonis will miss down low with it. You can see why, with that violent delivery, is true to what he's done in the minors, why those walks will pile up. Very hard to keep a delivery point when you are delivering that violently at the end.
Absolutely.
Gardner waiting on deck. 2-1 pitch on the way. Yankees opened up with a 5-run first inning, and they have not looked back. The Orioles did get 3 in the third. The closest they have gotten was 5-3. The Orioles again, there's another one of those games, all their runs in 1 inning in the third inning, while the Yankees have pushed them across continually here and Milwaukee. So 1 on, 1 down turns the order over for Gardner.
The one guy you probably get away with a groove fastball, you know, down the middle, not worrying about it hitting 450 feet. Now ends up walking.
Gardner got a base hit and scored his first time up. Castro's had a 4 RBI game with a bases loaded single and a 2-run homer. Sanchez 3 RBI game with a 3-run homer. They've been the big producers today. Just about everybody, not just about everybody in the lineups contributed one way or another offensively. Gardner 1-0 count.
Now that home run by Sanchez gives them 10 on the year. That means the Yankees have 6 players with 10 or more home runs. That's some danger.
The Yankees playing a 13 over 500 start to the year. That's the most games they've been over 500 at this point of the season in a long time. Going to go back to 2015. 1-0 delivery, and that will be taken away. Yankees came in averaging almost 6.5 runs a game at home. They have upped that. Yacobonis with a 2-0 count, 1 down. Reyes on at first base. Gardner takes it, and the count goes 3-0.
Get back in the zone with that fastball. Working them at the knees, stay on the plate. Good movement, good velocity. Let's see if they can hit it.
The 3-0 pitch to him. Gardner's taking, and it will be in there for a strike. Three-1, 1 down. Yankees 7-run lead here in the 7th inning. 3-1 delivery on the way, and they walked him. So after a strikeout, 2 walks.
Scope out there to try to get him calm down a little bit, slow the game down, certainly speed up on you here at Yankee Stadium. A lot of adrenaline going already. Yacobonis.
Just counting up, that's 21 base runners the Yankees have had on so far in this game. Here's Aaron Hicks. Orioles have issued 9 walks. And the pitch is going to be down low. So Hicks with bat on shoulder, watching those last 2 at bats. He's not going to swing till you throw a strike.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to prove it now. You got to prove you can throw 2 in a row.
2 on, 1 out. Yacobonis with a 1-0 delivery. You see Hicks. I mean, he isn't even gripping the bat. And that will bring Castillo out to the mound.
And Castillo calling the slider right there, trying to get him to finish with that fastball out in front. Once again, just a little time to slow him down. A little too quick. Obviously, jumpy type of delivery. That delivery's a little bit off. There's going to be some inconsistencies. Obviously, right now, problem throwing strike. On the backside, let the arm get out in front.
2-0. Yankees 3 for 6 in these situations today. Hicks looking to extend a 3-game hit streak. He's gotten on with the 2 walks, but officially 0 for 2 on a couple of fly balls. 2-0 delivery, and again, not even ready to hit. He will now as the count goes to 2-1. Orioles, with the best record against the East through the first third of the season, 21-15, but the Yankees percentage-wise now have moved ahead 19-13. Here's the 2-1 delivery on the way, and he got that one to the gap in right center field. That'll bring Torres in to score. Comes off the wall. Windmill going for the second run in. No play at the plate. Gardner scores. Hicks gets a 2 RBI double, and the Yankees add a couple more here at the stadium. They just keep on driving. 12-3.
Both walks, unfortunately, scoring. Yacabonis and Hicks just waiting him out, waiting for a strike. Gets to time him up a little bit. 3 bonus pitches to look at. Now with the problems of throwing that first pitch strike, man, fastball command. Hicks waiting for a cookie. He got it.
Givens will be up, is up in the bullpen. So Hicks continues his run for an all-star berth. 36 RBIs, 13 doubles. He's hit from both sides of the plate. 322 right-handed, 313 left-handed. The Yankees have 12 runs on 12 hits. The Yankees set the season high, as you would expect, in the ball game yesterday. Season high 16 runs. 18 hits were the most they'd had since August of 2016. That also was against the Orioles. And they've got 12 runs on 12 hits here. Here is Aaron Judge. Triple away from the cycle. He's had a single first inning scored, walked in the second, doubled and scored in the 4th inning, and hit his 20th home run in the 6th. One delivery to him. One ball, one strike count with a runner on at second base.
Well, this is when it becomes real for young men when they get up to the big leagues and understand what they have to go through, how they have to work to get through a major league lineup. Unfortunately for a lot of the pitchers that the Orioles flipped out there today, catching the Yankees at a rough time when everybody is clicking. High fastball there.
Counts at 1-2. The infield shifted. Yacabonis delivers to him. Judge takes it. Misses outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Third, 1 2 2/3, 3 runs, 2 earned, 3 hits, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. Another short start. Kevin Gausman, the Orioles starter, 7 runs, 8 hits, 3 1/3 innings, no strikeouts and 6 walks. We're looking, Kevin, the only game this year where Gausman did not strike somebody out was the game he got thrown out in Boston, where he worked only an inning. Otherwise, he's had at least a strikeout in every game, but not here today. And the 6 walks is a career high.
Certainly didn't start off well. First inning, a very rough one.
Runner off second, 2-2 delivery on the way. Judge drives out in the air to right field. That's way back. And goodbye home run, another one. A 2-homer game, number 21 for the major league leader, and a 3 RBI ball game.
he's got plate discipline. He's got plate coverage. How about that fastball? 96 on the outside corner. What do you got to do? It's a line drive going about 380 in right center field. Bullet off the bat of Judge.
8 home runs against the Orioles this year and 16 RBIs in 12 games. Holiday up. Now pass along something that came about Judge from people who work with the Yankees downstairs. They said they have never seen a ball player, and these are people who've worked here a long time, more polite and cooperative than Aaron Judge. Guys are telling, he goes in, eats, picks up his dishes, takes them to the sink, always thanks whoever's cooking in there, cleans up the locker, clearly brought up the right way, and has carried it so far. Young rookie, will it last? Who knows? But he started it out right. He's made that kind of an impression on the people who matter downstairs that he sees every day. That one into left field. Mancini coming, and he'll make the running catch. Holiday is retired for the second out of the inning.
Well, you like that. Have a potential, your potential superstar. Of course, he's leading this team right now in every offensive category, but to have that type of makeup, and certainly it's rubbed off on everybody on the team. The veterans are playing as good as we've seen them play the last couple of years. To have that type of humility, and of course here in New York, not very easy under the microscope. But hopefully the success doesn't go to his head.
Exactly.
Continues to stay true to himself.
That kind of a leader by example. 2 down. Yacobonis delivers, and the pitch will be taken away. Castro's had a home run, his 12th, his last time up, good for 2 RBIs. He's also had a bases loaded single in the first, so Castro a 4 RBI ball game. Yankees adding 4 more so far here in the 7th inning. Yacobonis delivers. Judge, by the way, his 3rd career multi-homer game in his rookie season. And the Orioles have felt the brunt of so much of that in the games he's played against them. 1 ball, 1 strike count. Starlin Castro will nub it off the end of the bat, foul.
Nice slider right there from Yacobonis. Better ones here in this inning.
Castro has had as many as 6 RBIs in a ball game. He has done that twice in his career. 4 today. Yacobonis with a 1-2 delivery on the way, and that's up high. Two ball, 2 strike count.
One thing about Yacobonis, obviously the big arm coming through the minor leagues, you get away with a lot of mistakes. Trusting that fastball, 97, 98 with that good movement, but you got to have the secondary pitches to offset the timing and some of the command problems he's had here in this inning.
Fly ball that Mancini will move in on and put it away. So here in the 7th inning, 4 more added on the 2nd home run of the ball game by Judge and the double by Hicks. Earlier in the game, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite.
Well, it's Aaron Judge. Yeah, 2 home runs today, but his first one, furthest in the major leagues, came off the bat 118 miles, ended up landing 495 feet away. A big ball from Aaron Judge. Take a look at Didi Gregorius holding up to Reyes at the end there to get up to Aaron Judge. Yeah, that's the high five.
That's pretty good.
Biggest man in the history of the game.
Yep.
Putting on quite a show.
And what gets lost, he plays some pretty good D. Ref Snyder's come out to play in left field for Gardner. So Ref Snyder in left. Now the Yankees 14-3 lead. The Orioles can't wait to get out of New York. I'll tell you that much. Time to move on.
Yeah.
Kim is going to come on, pinch hitter for Adam Jones. Now late in the ball game, you'd understand Buck Showalter giving some of the regulars maybe an at bat off, but I think there's more to that. Adams' legs are clearly bothering him. I mean, it showed up trying to run, trying to play the outfield. He's going to play because he wants to, and will play through it as long as he can, but he is far from 100%.
Yeah.
1 strikeout on Young-Soo Kim. He will take the pitch for a ball.
The long innings certainly don't help. They got leg, feet problems.
1 ball, 1 strike count. Herman buries one down low. He had a 1-2-3 inning, major league, or a 2 outs in a 1-2-3 inning for his major league debut. Waiting on a Kim, the 1-2 delivery, slaps it down to first base. Carter, pitcher covers. 1 away in the 8th.
Well, pretty nice changeup right there. The young righty playing it off the firm fastball. Fastball getting it up there about 98 miles an hour, and he's able to pull about 10 miles an hour off there. Same two-seam effect coming out of his hand, but boy, does it dive bomb down and away. Very effective secondary pitch.
Mark Trumbo trying to stay away from that golden sombrero. 3 strikeouts in the ball game. Castro moves behind the bag in the shift on him. Trumbo will take a breaking ball that didn't inside. 1-0 count, 1 down.
A little bit of a buckler there. Don't really expect the slider. 14-3.
Heated upstairs just at 87.
Off speed pitches to Trumbo. He doesn't want any numbers on his ERA.
Didi Gregorius, long hopper. 2 down.
In the day games, infield kind of dries out a little bit. Infielders get a little bit tentative there, and Gregorius just waiting for the right hop. A little tentative to come and get it. So picks the hop he wants. Trumbo slightly below average running down the line, so a little extra time there for Gregorius to get the second out. So Yacobonis going to catch his breath after a tough debut inning.
Chris Davis, a base hit, 1 for 3, couple of hits, 8 at bats in the series, and we'll take the pitch away. Orioles off to Chicago tomorrow. Wade Miley against Mike Pelfrey. 7:30 O's Extra, 8 o'clock ball game. Alec Asher, Derek Holland, Dylan Bundy, Miguel Gonzalez, Chris Tillman, and David Holmberg are the scheduled starters. Towering pop-up. Gregorius shades the eyes, puts it away. Herman has the easy inning. He retires the side in order. Bottom of the 8th coming with the Yankees on top. This again tomorrow. The road trip continues. 4-game set against the White Sox in Chicago. Wade Miley against Mike Pelfrey. Coverage on MASN 2, 7:30 O's Extra, presented by Jeep. Our game coverage at 8. All the access you need right here on MASN.
Now take a look head-to-head here. Average with runners in scoring position. That was a difference maker the first time these two teams met. The Orioles 11 for 26, 423 clip. Are you kidding me? The White Sox having some problems. Just that 1 for 18. The O's went on to win that series 3-0. Now, Orioles, we're going to try to do the same. White Sox down a little bit right now, and bottom of the basement in the Central. The Orioles need to find a way to regroup. This could be the series to do it. Michael Givens now coming in out of the bullpen. This will be his 28th appearance, 2.70 earned run average, 30 punch outs in his 30 innings of work, 11 walks for Michael Givens. The opponent's hitting .216 overall.
Buck Showalter making a number of changes as we go to the bottom half. Givens will be working to Gary Sanchez. Shift on in the infield. Sanchez 3-run homer, 1 for 4 in the ball game. Kim has stayed in the ball game in left. Joey Rickert has come on to play in center. Trey Mancini moves from left to first. Mark Trumbo is going to be the third baseman coming out of his DH spot. 1-0 count. And Todd has gone to short in place of Hardy from third base. The White Sox lost today. The Indians beat them 4-2. Caleb Joseph on to do the catching. So the White Sox picked up 8 hits. They out-hit Cleveland 8-7, but lost the ball game 4-2. Carrasco a winner 6-3. Quintana took the loss. He is now 2-8. The White Sox continue to struggle, and the Orioles hope it will stay that way for the next 4 games.
Yeah, Orioles have a shot here in the next week to really regroup. Finally playing a couple teams under 500.
In the air, Mancini. Foul territory, puts it away. So Sanchez out of there, 1 down, bottom of the 8th inning.
Yeah, so after the Orioles take on the White Sox with a 4-game set, they come back, they play the Cardinals, who are having problems in their own division.
Michael Givens will work to Gregorius. Double single, 2 for 4, 13-game hit streak for him. Givens pitched to him, taken inside. Yankees have not been retired in order in this ball game. Had a couple of innings where they haven't left anybody on, but that's because everybody they got on scored. Gregorius will go after that one and foul it off. Cabanas won an inning, 4 runs, 2 hits. He had 2 walks and a strikeout. Orioles 3 deep into the bullpen. Chopper to second. Scope. 2 down in the 8th.
Beautiful changeup right there from Michael Givens. Pitch has really come a long way for him. Weapon against the lefties.
Carter coming up, a 1 for 2 off Givens. Today he's had 2 walks, has struck out, and picked up a single. Givens' delivery to him will miss inside for a ball. Orioles coming into this trying to avoid a 3-game losing streak, but does not look like that's going to happen. And that's going to be a base hit. If they lose this one, it'll be 4 in a row in the L column. And their road number will drop to 10 and 20. It was a problem last year for the Orioles, where they Had trouble picking up wins on the road, and it is turning out to be that way again this year. 2 down, runner on at first base. That's hit number 14. 14 runs on 14 hits, and the Yankees again are going to go through this ball game without a 1-2-3 inning. Swing and a miss. Torreyes a walk, scored in the 7th. A couple of fielder's choice, ground ball double play. Here's the 0-1 delivery on the way, and the slider's going to miss down low. 2 down, 1 on.
We've been kind of talking about staying on the Oriole pitching. Obviously, big numbers put up against them, and
that's going to be a base hit into right field. Smith over to get it. Cotter will make the turn, easily go to third.
And obviously the short outings by the starters, but the Orioles offense they've been held down as well. 4th game, only scoring the 3 runs. How about that piece of hitting right there, going the other way? Not giving up at bats, that's for sure.
Yeah, if the Orioles don't get another run, this is going to be their 4th consecutive game scoring 3 or less, and it will be the 7th of 9 in which they've scored 3 or less. 2 down, runners on at first and third. Here is Refsnyder. He's sitting in the leadoff spot. This is his first at bat. He is in for Gardner. Gardner scored a couple of runs, reaching on a single and a walk. Refsnyder will take the pitch, and it is in there for a strike. Michael Givens surrendering a couple of hits after there were 2 down. Refsnyder, only 11 games that he has appeared in. He's had only 18 at bats and a 1-ball 2-strike count.
Refsnyder, super utility players.
1-2 delivery, and he'll swing and miss. So Givens will get the strikeout. The Yankees no runs on a couple of hits. They will leave 2 on. Orioles come up in the 9th inning, trailing. Thompson, drive of the game.
Jonathan Schoop picking up his 19th double of the year, coming off the bat hot down the left field line, 114 miles an hour. Drives in Seth Smith. It was a part of a 4-double 3rd inning for the Orioles. They put 3 runs on the board. You see Jonathan Schoop having a strong offensive year. Here's to Manny Machado, waiting for his partner to get back into the ball game. Missed only 3 games now. Only 4 games for the Orioles.
Kevin Romine has come in behind the plate now. Finish it up for the Yankees. Sanchez goes to first base. Carter goes to right field. Orioles bat here in the 9th. And that one lifted towards center is going to fall in for a base hit. So the Orioles get a leadoff single from Mancini. Orioles baseball on MASN brought to you by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. By visitannapolis.org. Create your moment at visitannapolis.org. And by Antwerpen Toyota. Get in the game this season with a new Toyota from Antwerpen Toyota. Mancini on with a single. Here's Joey Rickert. And Rickert will take the pitch for a strike. This will be Rickert's first at bat. He's hitting in the Wellington Castillo spot. Wellington had an 0 for 3 today. Down to third. Torreyes, Castro, Sanchez. 2 down.
Hard hit ball. But, unfortunately, it's Torreyes. Clean up another double play and the potential scoring opportunity for the Orioles.
Adam Warren worked an inning and 2/3 in this ball game, gave up no runs on 2 hits. He's going to be credited with the win if the score stays the same, since Chad Green, the starter out of the bullpen emergency start, pitched only 2+ innings in the game. So Warren's going to go 2-1. That one slips away. Herman all the way to the backstop. Kevin Gausman will take the loss. He's going to be 3-5. The Orioles are now 7-7 in games that have been started by Kevin Gausman this year. Orioles will lose their 4th in a row. They're going to go 5-7 against the Yankees. 1-0 delivery is in there for a strike. During this 4-game losing streak, Orioles have been outscored 44-9. 1 ball, 1 strike count.
That hurts.
Pitch will be taken outside. 24-year-old right-hander. Herman's done a good job. Major league debut.
Yeah, he has. Pretty impressive arm. Good fastball. Good secondary pitches as well.
That pitch is going to be taken away. This has been a very tough weekend for the Orioles here in New York. Herman trying to finish up a couple of innings of relief work. 3-1 delivery, and Milwaukee. 3rd walk picked up by the Orioles today.
Well, you got to believe Wade Miley's going to bounce back, have a good start after a rough one, lasting only 2 2/3 in his last outing. That's really the key. In many ways, you're only as good as your starter. The ability for Miley to get deep into a ball game, save some of these arms in the Oriole bullpen, and give this Oriole offense a chance to kind of regroup.
Orioles keep waiting for it. I mean, they hoped it was going to be today. They hoped it was going to be yesterday with Tillman. Didn't work. Hoped it would be Gausman today. That didn't work. 0-1 count, 2 down. Runner off first base, and swinging a foul by Ruben Tejada. Double and an RBI for Tejada, 1 for 3 in the game. Smith, Scope, the other RBIs, 3 runs, 4 hits in the 3rd inning. Orioles have not scored since. They have had 3 hits since the 3rd inning. Oh, 2 count. Herman's delivery on the way, and that'll be outside. So the Yankees will leave for the West Coast with a 5-game win streak. And the Orioles head to Chicago, knowing at least they're not going to face a ball club. It's got to line up like what they had to face here.
Right. Man.
1-2 delivery on the way. That's up. Ron's delivery fouled away into the seats. They had a sellout crowd here today, announced at 46,348, 46,348. Goodly number of those have departed for Sunday dinner.
Well, I think they were entertained. We're a Yankee team.
As it was last year, you came to see Sanchez hit home runs. This year, you come to see Judge hit home runs. 2-2 pitch on the way. That ball lifted to the gap in left center field. It'll be in there for a base hit. So Tejada's on with his second hit, 2 for 4. He's gone 4 for 9 against the Yankees in this series, continuing to take advantage of his opportunities at the plate.
Yeah, I'd like to see that. I mean, that's what you're supposed to do. Get a chance to play big league level, be ready, be focused, and take advantage of this opportunity. For a lot of guys, that window closes up pretty quick. And Tejada taking advantage of his, but he better be careful over there at first base. He and Sanchez must be buddies, kind of elbowing each other. Don't mess with that big guy.
Joe West refereeing.
Right.
So 2 away. Orioles have 2 on. They get their 9th hit of the game. And Smith will stand in. He's had a 2 for 4, double, single, a run scored, RBI. Shift put on against the Oriole leadoff hitter. Herman's delivery, a floater way outside.
John Russell still working.
1-0 delivery to him, check swing. The inevitable question, game after game, do we need to make a roster change? Do we need another pitcher? I don't think so. Going into Chicago, the bullpen still usable, not entirely beaten up.
Right. Well, you know, they're always looking.
Yeah.
Will help.
2-0 delivery is going to be a strike on the inside corner.
Like you said, not many more pieces down there.
No. No, got to get some work out of the people who are here. The continuing question of where does Ubaldo Jimenez fit into all of this? There's the guy out there that kind of gets lost. There's a chopper, first base. Uh-oh. Got him. A diving play made by Gary Sanchez, who just came out there to play first base. And that will retire Smith and the Orioles and end this ball game. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 2 are left on base here in the 9th. Sanchez had the ball in time. Seth Smith hustling down the line. Then he lost his footing and reached and just got to the bag. So this one is in the books, and a sweep of the 3-game set for the Yankees, 14-3.